Hi everyone, we fixed it. I see the bar's working.
Yay!
Welcome to the 3 Up Tabletop Hobby Stream. I'm your host, Josh B. You all know me. Today we're joined by a very special guest, Mr. Daniel Schneider. Dan, say hi, buddy.
Hello.
How are you on this day?
I'm doing real good. I'm excited to see how this stream turns out. I've hated my own streams for just their low quality. I'm like, you know what? Josh has it figured out.
Well, you think so. I never have issues with my stream, but the last 2 streams we've had, the game last night, the dice box froze the first 10 minutes. We didn't even notice. So that was super sick.
Oh.
And now this happened. So I don't know. I gotta triple check all my stuff going forward. That's so fun. After 12, 15 streams of no technical issues. But yeah, we'll wait for people to funnel in here and we'll talk about what we're doing a bit more. So yeah, excellent. I'm gonna delete the old stream forever because it's embarrassing. Goodbye, delete forever stream. Oh, hi Seeker. Welcome to the coffee, buddy. Yeah.
Who's Seeker?
Seeker is my #1 fan, who I do
Really?
not know in real life. They're just a random person, and they're
Oh my God.
in all my streams. And honestly, they are super based. They also hate League of Legends, which is good.
Why do they hate League of Legends?
That's a funny question. Next question. Dan, what are you working on today, buddy?
I am working on my Jackal Elphys for my custom Jackal Elphys for my Gene Stealer cult's boss Dixie Gallows.
Oh.
Why is my phone yelling at me? Go away.
Oh my goodness.
Dismiss. There we
now
go.
you're being unprofessional.
I
Phone
am.
on during my stream. Oh, and that's the audio test. Perfect. Sorry, everyone. I'm also just advertising the stream out there. Jason says hello.
Hello. Which is it?
Jason M. Orange Jeep Jason.
Oh yes, the dopest Jeep.
We're just going to make sure everyone at Red Claw knows that we're here in the channels. Dan, what is the correct channel now that we're talking about?
Oh,
how
that's
to
a
post in the Red
good
Claw
question.
Discord?
Let's go with painting gallery.
Painting gallery? Sure, I will find that.
Yeah,
Cool, 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 cool.
that seems the most appropriate. We are painting.
Hey, everyone. At Dan. Oh, there's 2 of you now. I
Yeah,
hate this.
I have no addition. I am the OG Dan.
Is painting on our live stream. Come hang out. Might learn a thing or 2.
I can teach things.
We're gonna ask you so many questions.
Yeah, I'm down to answer any questions. That's the other thing that I was really looking forward to on this is I feel like I thrive way more as a streamer if I have someone to talk to.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I tried the solo streaming thing and it did not go well many years ago. It was just me staring at a blank screen going, gungo burr.
I had it took me a while on my art streams to build up enough of an audience that I was oh, I don't need someone here because the chat will just say stuff and I'll be able to just ramble about that.
100%.
And then I ignored my streaming for 2 years, and that audience went away. Shocker. And now that I'm trying to pick it up again, I just have zero patience for that growth. So I'm just how do I mimic that until I get that growth back?
Yeah, totally fair.
Yeah.
Chat, let me know how the audio is. It's really echoey in this room. I don't know if that picks up on the lav mic or not. I'm assuming it is a little bit, but I don't know if it's bad enough for me to worry about in the future. Because in the future, we just go to the other area of the shop and do this. But
Yep.
Yeah, we're trying out new things today.
Or we can set up, we have those Stormcast standees.
Oh, yeah.
We can just set up as many of those in
across the
here.
room. How many do you guys have?
We had 4 at one point, but we only have, I think, 2 now because we have a Stormcast and we have a Space Marine somewhere.
Hey, remember all those times I did so many cool things for you in the store and never asked for your help ever because I was so cool and good at my job, but not really?
Yeah.
I want a Stormcast Andy.
we gave one away, but the next one you can have.
I would love the next
The one that's sitting in the bathroom that scares everyone. That one's
thing
yours,
did scare
buddy.
me in there, dude.
Yeah.
I want the bathroom standee. Hell yeah.
Yeah. The amount of times people come out of the bathroom and are I always forget that thing's in there. I would change it, but I don't want to. Also, unless Dave tells me to, I'm not going to change that. I love that it
The
freaks
bathroom
people
guy?
out.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Just watching you pee.
Fuck. Already 5 seconds of the stream and we're going off out peeing. Yeah, when you get a chance, do you want to hold up to the camera what we're painting today? People can get a good view of it. Yeah, That's actually pretty sick.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Dan is...
Should I hold it up? Because I can hold it up here and paint.
Oh, that'd be great, yeah.
Yeah.
Much better. In fact, sorry, stream, about to get an earthquake. Again, we are testing things. How's that stream? Good? It's a bit crooked. I think that's great. That's excellent. Cool. Not horribly. I think you're good. Oh, thank you, Jason. Excellent.
Heck yes. Is he talking about the Stormcast in the bathroom or about
the
us?
audio, the Stormcast
okay.
in the bathroom? He says nothing screams Game Store like life-size bathroom standee.
Yeah,
So that's pretty awesome.
that's true. He is correct.
So for those that don't know, Mr. Dan here, I talk about this all the time because it's like my one Warhammer flex. You ever go to Warhammer community, look up the Reforged comic, he's the guy that did it. I tell all my friends this, even my normie ones are like, who cares? And I'm like, I do. So that's pretty
Heck
neat.
yeah.
He's a full-time artist, so if you want to feel bad about your paint jobs, you watch his stream a little bit. Try working with the guy. Oh my God, bringing something new every day for the cabinet.
I wish I was bringing something new every day for the cabinet. Well, one good thing about I'm getting this prepared. We're heading down to Play On to go have our armies on there to talk about the narrative tournament that's coming up in June at GameCon. And the one good thing about this is I had this I was talking about this on my last stream, that I went through this cycle with my armies where COVID was when I was like, oh crap, I have all these armies and none of them are painted. Because I was just like, if I have art time, I'm going to do it on art that gets me paid.
Yeah.
But during COVID, it's like, hey, I got way more time than usual. So I'm going to get my army finished painted. And my goal was to get it painted to a point where I'm just like, I'm happy when it's sitting at arm's length away from me.
Yeah.
And so I went to town on contrasts and was very, very pleased with them. Just because I'm like, these are fast and they look good from far away. That's all I need. But then when I started working here, because all my armies were basically painted to that standard, I would give people advice on painting. And as I would give them advice, I'm like, you just got to kind of trust me that I know what I'm talking about, even though I have 0 examples to show you what I'm talking about. So I got frustrated that I had nothing to show for what I was trying to tell people to do. So I went and painted 2 or 3 models to the standard that I knew I could. And after doing that, I was just like, oh, right, this is why I didn't do this before. And I limited myself because I love painting something to that level. But now the problem is every model I have, I want to paint to that level. And so my army production slowed right the heck down. So I have a nearly fully unpainted orc army that I started when I started working here. That is 3,000 points, and I have, I think, 3 models painted. No, I have more than that because I painted all the grots. Well, not all the grots. The list idea for that list is 120 grots. So I have 20 painted. So, so I have 23 models in this army painted. But then when I was doing this, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll bring my Gene Stealer cults because they're the most finished painted. And then when I looked at them, I'm like, oh, okay, there's a few characters I need to paint to get it done and get it ready. And then I looked at some units, and I'm like, oh, that could use a paint job, touch-up. And then I looked at other units and oh, these could all use a touch-up because they're all my old crappy paint job. And I realized I didn't have the time to do every model in the army to the level that I wanted to do it.
Classically.
So I've had to now revert back to prioritizing my time with my models, where I have to figure out who gets what level of detail. So she's getting to the max.
Yeah,
this is going to be, I don't know if I'm going to get her done to the point that I want to get her done for the Play On thing, but I'll get her done to a point that will feel like she's done. And then a bunch of my other models in my army are getting that old paint job of just this looks good from an arm's length and don't scrutinize it too much. But the thing I like about that is it really ties into this kind of drawing the eye that I talk about lots with people with your paint jobs. Is there something I need to fix?
No, you're
or
good.
Nope. Okay. Because if you know where someone's looking, you can put the effort there and not put as much effort into the spots that they're not looking, and you save yourself a butt ton of time art-wise, because people are going to look at what you want them to look at if you can direct them there.
Interesting.
And that means that you can put way more effort there, and since they're not looking at the other things, they'll fill in. Your eyes will trick you and your brain will trick you, where it will fill in the blanks with what you're looking at. So if I'm looking at her and she's super well painted and well detailed, all the models behind her, as long as they're roughly the same color scheme, you're going to be like, oh, they're all painted to that level. But then it will be, once you look at them closer, you'll be like, oh crap, no, they're not.
Yeah.
Like, not even close. So that's what I'm really trying to aim with this army, is the more I care about someone, the more love and attention they get, because I know that's where you're going to look. Which, even on this model, I'm doing that. So there's a big reason, one, I chose this red cloak because it ties to the story of my army. So if you look across my Gene Stealer cult army, red is the color of law and law enforcement.
Whoop, whoop.
So anyone in the army that has red is either like the leader of a unit or enforces law within the army. So they have some sort of tie to law. And then I have a color of purple that ties to religion. So anyone that has that color of purple is a religious leader in the army. So this girl is one of their like top law enforcers. She would be like your sheriff. So she gets red. But the other reason she gets red is I went with all desaturated colors on this model.
Right.
And then the red is stupidly saturated.
Yeah.
So the red stands out from the rest of the model. So you're always looking, like when you first look at the model, you're going to look at her.
Yeah, when you first started talking about this whole concept, like, oh, I can see that red cape, and I can immediately understand what you're talking about, where it's like, that's all I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm intentionally trying to make you look at her.
Yeah.
And then you can look at the rest of the model. But I want you, when you look at this model, to look right there.
For sure.
And so that's why I'm trying to draw you up there with the red cape.
So this character, Dan, she's
Yeah.
part of your narrative army?
Yes.
Well, I have, you've been signed up for something.
I've been signed up for something?
Yeah, sorry, it happened
What?
last night.
Okay.
So, last night, playing Jason, I got thrashed, playing my Votan, and I said to my subs, while losing, if we get 150 subs tonight, I'll let my Votan walk. And they said, okay, and I got 150 subs, no problem. But then I was like, I'm not going to wah on Jason mid-game, we didn't agree to it. But I knew who can wah, my elves and your narrative campaign. And
Yes.
I told them all about it.
Yeah.
So I promised them we would do a narrative game with that wah army versus your GSC to get you on stream at some point. Don't know.
Oh,
when.
okay. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say. I thought you were gonna ask for against my orcs, and I'm like, you guys have a long wait.
No, I ain't waiting for that.
If you want a painted army on stream, you have a long wait.
Oh, that's the beauty of 3-up tabletop, buddy. We don't need painted armies on stream, just like 60%.
Even 60%,
Oh, well,
you have a
then get out.
long wait.
No.
I've made the real bad decision with that army that most of that army is painted to like above tabletop standard. Like each of my grots takes me at least an hour. I think I'm on almost an hour for each grot.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So you got a long way. Maybe it might be a half hour for each grot, but still it's at least a half hour for each grot, which is nuts. And depending on the grot, they might have more love given to them.
Seeker says he needs that 10 points for paint.
Oh God. I will, yeah.
Dan loves Sigmar because they don't have to paint in that game, so he feels much better about himself.
Except I put a paint rule in my games for
I know
it.
you do.
I love it. That's actually where I've gone even more insane.
Yeah?
Yeah, have I told you about my Beasts of Frazetta project?
You have told me, but please tell the chat.
Okay, so it's blown up even dumber since I've told you about it, I think.
No, buddy.
I don't know what originally sparked the idea, but like the piece of artwork that got me into Warhammer in general is I think it was the fifth or sixth edition Beasts of Chaos Battletome cover. It's like one of probably my all-time favorite piece of Warhammer art. And it's just like, it has very Frazetta vibes. If you don't know who Frazetta is, Frank Frazetta is the like quintessential Conan artist. So if you think of Conan the Barbarian, old paintings of him, you're probably thinking of Frank Frazetta. And he has this incredible motion and like just busyness in his artwork. And there's a brutality in his artwork that I loved. And for whatever reason, I know what sparked it. It was the Dark Oath Savages, or the Dark Oath Marauders, whatever they're calling them now, Dark Oath. Yeah. The Dark Oath Army. Because the Dark Oath Army in Sigmar is basically someone at GW went, I want a Frank Frazetta army. And they made the Dark Oaths, because they're basically all Frank Frazetta characters. And when I saw that, I was like, oh crap, I want that for my Beasts of Chaos. And I was already converting Beasts of Chaos out of Warcry models. And so when the Dark Oaths showed up, they were first showed up in Warcry. And so I started converting them out of those guys, because that's how I wanted my Beasts of Chaos to look. And then I decided to take it one step further, which is like, I'm going to make my whole army, I'm going to paint it in the style of Frank Frazetta. And then I took it another step further, which is now I'm going to do 3 paintings, like 2D paintings, of Frank Frazetta pieces that tie together, that show my army all across 3 pieces. And those 3 pieces will be basically a snapshot of my armies on parade of this army.
Fun.
So I'll have the armies on parade painted like my 2D painting and sculpted like my 2D painting.
Oh, buddy.
And then I was like, you know what? None of these models, or at least not my hero models, aren't in the pose that I want them to be for Frank Frazetta. So my Beast Lord is now going to be almost 100% hand sculpted by me.
That's literally insane.
Yeah, it's gone like absolutely nuts, this project. So that one has gone even further than my stupid orc project, which is also real dumb. I should probably explain why I'm doing this, because this looks cartoony as heck and weird. So what I'm doing with this model is you can see it on the horse really well here. So I've established my base color. This is going to be, for the most part, that's going to be my shadows. I guess I can lift this up.
I'm just zooming it in for them.
So these are like my shadows on the horse. And you can see up here on our rider that we have the shadows and we have the highlights. So I'm kind of doing what would be considered like a cell-shaded look for this right now. But that's not how it's going to end. It's this, I don't know how I figured out this technique. And I was talking about this on my last stream. If someone knows another painter that does this, please let me know, because right now I'm claiming that I came up with this technique.
Which one?
Which is using contrast as a glaze.
Oh, okay.
So once I get my highlights in here, I'll take a contrast here and I will glaze back to the dark color.
Interesting.
So I've taken all these dark colors are close to a contrast that I have. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'll glaze back. So it just speeds up the process. Instead of mixing a new glaze, I'm just borrowing colors that are basically already a glaze consistency and creating them. So it's going to look really dumb for a while because you have your brightest tone and your darkest tone to start. So it looks really like chunky. But once you start blending it in, then you start to see everything take shape. I need to add more airbrush flow improver to this.
Airbrush flow improver. What's going on, Dan? Why are we using that?
I use airbrush flow improver to thin my paints because it has a retardant in it that slows down dry time.
Interesting.
And because we live in such a dry climate, it helps my paints from drying out like this one was.
Right.
And then it just gives your paints a nice, good consistency. Like I find actually a lot of airbrush paints I use a lot, even though I don't have an airbrush, just straight out of the bottle because they're basically a glaze consistency
Yeah, for sure.
straight out of the bottle. But that's why I use the airbrush flow improver. Am I too close if I'm up there?
Oh no, you're perfect.
Okay.
I have it nice and zoomed in for them so
Heck
they can
yeah.
see just your beautiful nails and model.
Oh, good. Good, good, good.
What are you guys working on, chat? Oh, and Jason is asking you, Dan, how many Cruel Boy armies are in the narrative this go?
1.
1.
Just Jeff.
Just Jeff. Oh, and it's Jeff. Jason, you know what that means, buddy. You gotta come play with Jeff.
Jeff's a good time. I think, yeah, you played, Jason played against Jeff in his Eaters of Cake army. His final battle to get all the recipes together was against Jeff. He had to kill a certain number of orcs to get the ingredients to finish his...
The mushrooms?
No, his cake.
Oh, what ingredients is getting out of them?
I don't know.
Mushroom.
I guess, oh, yeah. Oh, man, yeah, I totally... Because I was an idiot. I made, you look dumb. I don't think so. I think I just made me look
It's
dumb.
okay.
But that's okay.
I'm used to it.
Hey-oh.
Jason says, I hear the call, so we'll probably see him soon.
Ooh.
Seeker of Coffee says, I recently found out about warming rattle cans under hot water to prime out in the cold. When you live up here in the Great White North, that's the first thing they teach you, is to do that, because you never get sprayed in the summer.
Yep.
I love that.
I just told someone that today because we got our shipment of Vallejo colors in today.
Nice.
And there was a bunch of rattle cans in there, and a guy picked it up, and it was frozen to the touch. They're still frozen on the shelf.
Oh, no.
The paint inside is fine, but yeah, the cans feel like they've been sitting out in the cold for a long time.
For sure. Dan,
Beautiful.
this is clearly a kit bash. You kit
Yeah.
bash pretty much everything from what I've seen you play. Is that correct?
Not everything, but a lot.
A
yeah.
lot of it, yeah.
This army has the second fewest kit bashes of all my armies. The orc army is almost entirely kit bashed, except for some of the grots and 1 unit of boys. And then my Seraphon are the least kit bashed army. I just like lizards, so I'm happy with how the lizards look.
Fair. I was gonna say, would you say to do a good kit bash job, you need all the fancy tools like green stuff and a hobby saw and all that, or it's just I put bits together?
Yeah, I just started doing I put bits together. You'll see, we're gonna do an army showcase of this army at PlayOn, and it's gonna be fun because it's going to show kind of my my journey as a kit basher. Mm-hmm. It has some of my first kit bashes in that army that I want to desperately fix, and I do not have the time to fix them, so they are going to be there for me to show off, like my my Adelan Jackals that are on Napoleonic horses. I really like those guys. They're a simple conversion, which was just taking Adelan Jackal Rough Riders and putting them onto these Napoleonic horses that I had, which they look fine for the time, but now that I have this girl to go with them,
Oh yeah.
Boss Dixie Gallows, those horses are tiny.
Yeah, for sure.
They're minuscule. They look like little baby horses next to her.
Oh, you got the book.
No, I'm gonna have to fix that later.
Oh my goodness.
Bam, bam, bam.
Oh my goodness. He puts the paintbrush in his mouth. You're
Yeah, you gotta.
Why
You
is
gotta.
that?
It keeps the tip real good.
Does it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I famously once asked Dan while I used to work here at the store, I said, Dan, my paintbrushes always get messed up. Do you have any tips as an artist how to make my brush better? And he's like, dude, don't ask me. I'm the wrong guy. I have no idea. And that always stuck with me.
That's just true.
Yeah.
Although, I will say, since I started licking my brushes, it's gotten better.
Yeah, has it?
Yeah, I've only started licking my brushes. I've been a brush licker now for about a year.
I don't know if you can say that in 2025.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
not
controversial.
Controversial, the brush liquor.
Yeah. Yeah, just I don't know, I get mad at the tips. And so licking them keeps them in line.
Thanks, coffee. Be safe.
Though I mostly only do it on my natural hairbrushes, not my synthetics. The synthetics can just accept their fate.
Do you prefer synthetics or?
I definitely prefer natural, but I am not too fussed about it, and I'm too smashy with my brushes to use naturals for everything.
Sure.
So I'll use a natural for something like this where I need control. But to put on all these base layers, I just use synthetics. Like why am I spending extra money on a brush that just needs to put the paint onto the thing? And I don't need any control. So it's like the base layers, contrasts, washes, those are all synthetics. We don't need to get fancy with it. So I think I only have 2 natural brushes.
Interesting.
It's this guy and then a smaller guy.
I once bought a super expensive. What are like the big brand we're always supposed to buy for the expensive brushes? I don't remember.
Who tells you to buy them?
It's like always online. People are like, get this brush.
Oh,
brush.
Sable Kalinsky's are the ones everyone always
That's
tells
probably
you.
it. Yeah. I remember getting one. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll take good care of it. Unless it's one session. And I was like, well, fuck.
Yep.
It's over.
That's why, like, I was just talking with Crystal about this. Like, obviously, good brushes are good. But, this sounds real dumb to be like, good brushes are good. But it's way more about your technique and your skill than it is the brush. Mm-hmm. Like, I will show you guys the brush I used for like 90% of my painting up until maybe 2 years ago. And I've been painting for like, I don't know, 10 years. That's the brush. It used to be thicker. It has lost a lot of, and it's looked like this the whole 10 years that I've been using this thing. It used to be about twice as thick as this. It does not hold a point. It's never held a point. And that's what I did like 90% of my painting with.
Interesting.
Because this guy's just dope. I don't know what this guy was made of, but you can like beat the crap out of this, this bristle, and it won't fray. It won't make a point.
Yeah.
But it won't fray.
So it's a good base brush.
I love this guy. He's like, I'm so sad that I know he's now like, he's on his last days.
Sure.
I'm not even using him for contrast anymore. And that was his last job, was like, you do the contrast, buddy. Like, this is your retirement run. He is gone from that.
So what's the end state with this model tonight? Where do you hope to get it to? What's like the realistic goal?
That's a good question. I wrote down a goal of, I had 4 painting sessions with this lady. Mm-hmm. And my goal for each painting session was finish 1/4 of the model.
Well.
So, in theory, I'm halfway through this model right now. I don't think I am.
Where would you actually mark yourself on it right now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a good face.
No. I don't know. I might be. I think when I started today, maybe I'm at like a 1/3 done.
Okay.
So I think I can get it. I have tonight and one more session for sure planned with her.
Okay.
I think I can get, in those 2 sessions, I can get her to a point where I'm happy to show her on screen. I don't think she'll be done, but I think I'll be happy showing her on screen. And I'll be happy pretending that she's done. But everyone that has watched this stream will now know the truth.
It's okay. There's only 5 of us here, and I'm probably one of them. So we're hanging out.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, hobby stream. How I expected these numbers.
What are your regular numbers?
About like 18 people, I think.
Oh my God, and I'm killing your numbers.
I know. It's okay. Hey, listen, I'm just glad to have people on the stream. It's not Warhammer for once. It's so sick. Well, it is, but like it's not like playing Warhammer. It's good to do something different every once in a while. especially early. I want to get in the habit of doing more than just Warhammer early to set the precedent that we're going to be doing that.
Who are like some of your regulars on stream?
So right now I have Dave C and Jeremy. They are
Yeah.
they're like actually on board. We have like set days we stream, which should be Monday, Thursday, Saturdays, but they're at LVO right now.
Yeah.
Dave is, Jeremy has COVID, so that's not
Yeah.
happening today, so we're here. And then past that, Hudson's on a lot.
Yeah.
He's like always available, which is super sick.
Yeah.
Jason's been on a few times. Brendan, Logan, in the main crew.
Who's your like regular fans?
Our regular fans, there is two, I can't name off the top of my head because they're always in chat. It's Coffee, who we just had here for a little bit. And there's another guy, Azith, he's always around. Kind of more silent, but when he does talk, it's always bullying me, and I appreciate it. I crash out on stream a lot, and he has noticed that, so.
Cool.
The exact words yesterday, what was it, Jason? He said, "Oh, Josh is always having a moment," which is pretty much just who I am. And now we have you, Dan, who never comes to my streams.
I was
Interesting.
I have popped into 3.
3.
Yeah.
Were they the early ones? My cursed early streams?
I was on your first stream.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I jumped in on your first stream, and then I popped into one last week, which was, who were you against? Can't remember who you were against, but they were running Tyrannid, so it must have been Logan.
Probably Logan then.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what game you watch. That's so tragic. Okay.
And then I popped into one where you were running Votan.
It's like 50 games.
I think it was the first Christmas detachment run with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I remember who I played against that with.
So I think those are the 3 streams that I've done.
I didn't even type in chat. My engagement, Dan.
Well,
Oh my
to be fair,
goodness.
I was only there for like 20 minutes on each.
That's longer than most. Thanks.
Hey,
That's not true.
happy to contribute.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. It means a lot. Hi, Jeremy. Welcome back, buddy.
Yeah. But hopefully we'll, I will be able to help contribute more to
You're
this.
doing just enough, buddy. It's
Hell
great.
yeah.
Appreciate
Hell
doing
yeah.
this with you.
Ta-da.
Oh, God, look at that. Dan's like, it's 1/3 done. I'm like, brother, this was done 10 coats of paint ago.
What? Like there's just flat colors on this thing.
That's all I need, baby.
No, you need some shadows.
Ugh, too much work.
You need a wash. You
Every
can't
time.
have. She can't have her blanket, her rolled up blanket behind her, just be black.
Well, that's just a black blanket.
No, it still needs shadows.
No.
Have I ever given you my black talk?
No.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it kind of does, buddy.
About like how to paint black.
Nope.
So you paint black by not painting black. It's like there's like at some point in your like art journey, and people who get really into like learning painting, I hear them like have this revelation all the time, and I love it. I think whenever I figured it out, I was just too young to be like, oh my God, I need to tell everyone. And I was just like, cool, I'm gonna go play Spider-Man. That could have been me last week. But to paint both black and white, you don't paint black or white. Just because they look too boring and they look too flat. So you need to paint different colors to get those colors to pop. So, and it can be any color that you want, really, but you want to build up, because like if you look at like I'm wearing a black sweater, but even though we recognize it as black, there are parts on my black sweater that are blacker than other parts. That doesn't make sense. How can something be blacker than black? It's like you have that Vanta black paint that is the blackest black. So if that's the blackest black, what are the other blacks? They're still black, they're just
Lighter shades.
a lighter shade. Like you're actually going into grays. And so that's the thing. It's like to paint blacks properly, you need to paint the light parts more than you need to paint the dark parts. And it's the opposite with white colors. If you're painting a white color, to get a good white poppin', you need to paint the dark colors more than the light colors. And if you're painting almost any color, it should eventually shade to black and highlight to white, depending on how far you're pushing the highlight.
How far is too far?
That's up to you.
Oh God.
I always tell people, if you really want to push yourself as a painter or just any artist, do something. When you think you have done enough of something, go one step further.
Interesting.
So if you think you've highlighted enough, push it one step further. If you're then still like going like, oh, okay, no, I'm much happier with that, push it another step further.
Okay.
And keep pushing yourself until you've ruined it.
Right.
And when you've ruined it, you know that you've gone too far. And yeah, you've ruined whatever you're working on, but then you know where that line is. And you won't know where that line is for you until you push it past where is good for you. So you want to get basically messy with your stuff. You want to ruin your artwork in order to find where your boundaries are. I don't know why I put that straight in there. I'm gonna need, I don't know what I'm gonna need, but
Actual
that was,
monster.
what the heck? Get out of here. Come here.
Logan Watt in the chat. What model is that?
Oh, this is, she is a mix between mainly 3 different models. So this is the, what's his name? Field Marshal Cavalier
Yeah.
from Cities of Sigmar. Her top torso and head are from the Reductus Saboteur. And then the hat is, okay, so it's not from 3 models. It's from 2 models, and then the hat I sculpted. So I wanted her to have a hat. There's only a few models in my army that get cowboy hats. Do they play any significance? Not really.
They absolutely do in my heart.
I love them because the whole idea behind this army is, it's kind of, I feel bad for this model in my army.
Why?
Not this model. I'm thinking of a thing and not voicing aloud my thoughts and then continuing the conversation that's happening in my head. So this didn't make sense. But anyways, the model I feel sad for in my army is my original Kellermorph, because the Kellermorph is basically what got me to finally buy Genestealer Cult. I was originally a Tyrannid player. That was my first army. And then I kind of just petered out on them. I love Tyranids still. They're one of my favorite armies. And possibly my favorite, like overall in, whoa, almost dropped that in the paint.
Partner.
That would have been cool. I've done that before. Have you done that?
Buddy. I've come close probably about 1,000 times, but it's never actually hit the paint.
Oh, I've done it like 3 or 4 times.
Oh no, how do you fix that when it happens?
If you're lucky, you wash it off. If you're not, you just start over.
Okay. I'm good.
Anyway, so the Kellermorph was what finally got me to get into Genestealer Cults, because the reason I didn't want to play my Tyranids anymore is, as a guy who loves narrative play, Tyranids are really boring in the narrative. The reason I like Tyranids is because they are this unknowable, like, eldritch horror threat. Like, they're an unknowable alien. You can't reason with them. They're the end of level boss. Like, they are the end game for the universe. That's what makes them cool. But it also makes them a really boring story to follow from their point of view. And so Genestealer Cults are the natural jump because they are Tyranids, but you can follow their story and you can get behind them and you can root for them, even though you know their ending is tragic and horrifying. And so when the Kellermorph came out, I was like, oh my God, like, yes, I want Genestealer Cults now, because I decided I was watching a lot of, have you ever seen the show Hell on Wheels?
No.
It's a show like kind of based in reality. It is based in reality, but it's like it's based on this towns that would follow the railroad as it was getting built. And so the town in the show is called Hell on Wheels because they're like, yeah, it's a hellish town to live in because it's in the Wild West. There's no laws, and you're just like moving along with the railroad, and so all the like town needs to move constantly. And I loved that like aesthetic and look of like the cowboy that the Kellermorph was, and I love that the Gene Stealer cults are kind of like working man in 40K that have been infected and used to turn against the Imperium. I think I need to switch up my color. I need to add a little bit more there. So I was like, that's my army. That's what I'm going to do with Gene Stealer cults. I'm going to do Hell on Wheels Gene Stealer cult. So it's going to be a Gene Stealer cult that follows the light rail system to build basically transportation systems, or like not transportation systems, but like road systems and stuff in the 40K universe. So they go out into these like far off places within the Imperium and help rebuild infrastructure to help transport things. And that's why they have low technology. So that's why lots of them are on horses, because they don't have a lot of technology out where they're at. They're usually on the outskirts of the Imperium, in the kind of like frontiers of the Imperium. And then, they all have this cowboy look. And as soon as I was like, yep, Kellermorph, that's what I'm building my entire army around, the look around. It was like maybe 2 weeks later after I had bought that Kellermorph, a buddy of mine gifted me, her name is Severin Rain, I think.
Oh, yeah.
She's a commissar.
Yeah.
Dope commissar. And I was like, well, what am I going to do with Severin Rain? I have nothing to do with her. And then I was like, I could convert her into a dope-looking Kellermorph.
Yeah.
And I did. And she's way cooler than the OG Kellermorph that started this army.
Right.
So he had his glory for like 2 weeks, and I've never used him since.
Poor guy.
He's just sat painted in the case doing nothing.
He's out there wandering.
Yeah. He's just like, there was like a brief moment in, I think, like end of 8th where taking 2 Kellermorphs was really dope. And so like he got to see like 2 games, and he got to come out for those 2 games. And then after that, he has basically never gotten out again.
Poor little guy.
Yeah. Kellermorphs are in a weird spot. I don't know what they're meant to do.
What do they do now?
I don't know. They just don't. They used to just like. They used to really, really wreck like a 5-man unit of Space Marines. That was like their bread and butter. It's like you drop them down and they will wreck like a mid-elite unit of guys.
Sure.
So it was a very clear role. Now I don't know. They can't do that anymore, and they kind of just want to kill guardsmen. But they can only kill like 8 guardsmen at a time. And I'm like, is that
interesting?
Is that super useful for a character that kind of doesn't want to attach to a unit? Like how often do I need to kill? Like how often am I like, oh, if only I had something that could kill 8 guardsmen.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sit in that kind of weird zone.
What's your favorite unit in GSC right now?
Ugh. Her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Big fan of
Yeah. Boss Dixie Gallows. She's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's why I'm giving her all the love. But realistically, I don't know. Jackals. Jackals are dope. Like, her attached to a unit of Jackals is probably one of my favorite things right now, just because Jackals are awesome. Grenades are awesome in current 40K. Like that 1 CP strat to do grenades,
Yes,
dope.
sir.
Incredible. Adeline Jackals, after they finish any move, just throw grenades basically.
Oh.
It's not grenades,
So cool.
but it works exactly like grenades, and it doesn't cost you CP.
Yeah.
So you end your movement, don't throw grenades, but you throw grenades. Then you get into the shooting phase, spend a CP, you throw grenades.
Oh my god.
And then after they finish shooting, if they're attached to her, you can move. So you run up, throw 2 things of grenades, and then you just move away. And then if anyone moves within, I give her the enhancement of Prowling Adjutant, and if anyone gets within 9 inches of them, I get a redeploy for D6. So they're just like
so
little jerks just running by, like throwing grenades and then running away.
I love that.
Yeah, so they're pretty dope. I like them. And then also they're on horses, and that's cool.
When is your GSC have to be done by for playing on?
Sunday.
Oh, buddy, good fucking luck. This is 1/3 done. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh yeah, she'll get there. I have all of Wednesday and Thursday off.
Okay.
So I've got all that time to do her. But I also have to finish 3 aberrants. Well, 2.5 aberrants. What else do I have to finish? 5 acolytes. Acolyte hybrids. Son of a Mitch. Oh, my Abominant Mercy. He needs to get done. Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Really on the nose name there, Mercy.
Yeah. I named him when he was like, he's still really brutal. But my God, in like, end of 8th edition, that thing was disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
It would like clean up knights. It was stupid. Stupid in a great way. But it's always been my favorite thing about... That's a lie. It's not been my favorite thing about GSE, but it's my favorite thing game-wise, gameplay-wise about GSE, is they seem terrifying if you've never played against GSE before, because you're like, what the hell is this? These guys break all these rules. And you're like, yeah. But also, it's not terrible because their entire plan is, I'm going to pop out from behind a barrel and stab you with a knife. If you can take that stab with a knife, we have no plan. We have 0 plan beyond that.
Oh, that's so sad.
It's fun. It's dope. I love having an army that's all t-shirt saves.
Yeah, we're 2 different people, buddy.
I don't know what to do with things that are good at saving. Like,
I had that same experience.
I get mad at them.
Yeah.
Like, because if they fail, it's like, no, that was your job.
Yeah.
So, whereas, like, 5-up saves, great, spectacular.
Hey,
I love
made it
them.
awesome. What
Yeah,
a day.
like if I ever make a save, I feel incredible. I feel like I've won a jackpot.
Oh, 100%.
But if I don't make a save, I'm like, well, that's what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to die at this point. If you do anything otherwise, it's just like a nice little surprise.
Last night I failed. Probably like, oh god, Jason's still in the stream. Probably like 9 2-up saves in like one shooting sequence with my Votan yesterday. And I was just like, I fucking hate these guys right now.
See, why would you do that to
Exactly,
yourself?
yeah.
Don't give yourself a 2-up save.
If I play GSC, like, I don't really care.
Do you know what's your opinion on 3-up save versus a 4-up save? Which one's better?
3-up.
Yeah. No. Wait. Yes. Hold on. Let me return to my internal logic. I don't know why you threw me off by your answer, even though there was only 2 answers. Yeah, no. Sorry. Anyways, whatever. I hate 4-up saves.
Yes.
I asked the wrong question.
You mean 4 or 5s?
Yeah, 5s is better than 4s.
I agree.
Yeah, 4 is like the worst save you can have.
I know I can't rely on 5-ups. 4-ups, though, it's a fucking, let's go gambling!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's infuriating.
It's way too, because it's so easy to figure out the math. You know the math and you're like wildly aware of the math the whole time. So every time you fail and it's outside of the math, you're like just so hyper aware of it.
Oh, big time, yeah.
And you can't rely on them for anything. All right.
You make all your 4 50% of the time, every time.
Yep.
So.
Hell yeah. Okay, we're going to mix a color. I don't know what I'm going to do to mix this.
Give us a mixing tutorial, Dan. Well,
Oh, Jesus. Mixing tutorial?
Yep.
Okay, this is the part I need to get better at as an artist, because, or at least as a painter. My mixing tutorials are, I am going to pick colors that I know have the colors in them that I want, and I will eventually get to the color that I need. Okay, cool. So I want something that's like this but redder. This is going to be terrible. This is something I've learned as a teacher of art for the 15 years that I've been teaching art. Is I always have a terrible period where I know what I'm talking about. I just don't know how to talk about it. And so in this case, I want this kind of like, I want basically a reddy brown leather. So I need to bring this down because I'm going to be adding in a red into this. And I don't want pinks in it, so let's add, not that guy. We'll use this dark red. So I'm going to go, bam. There we go. Can you see me mixing that right there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. So I'm just going to mix this color. This is the other thing. If I'm going to start doing this regularly, I need to actually get better at like measuring how many parts, because it's like if you've ever been to the shop, I have an orc in the case, in the glass case at the shop, and it is the bane of anyone that wants to know how I painted that orc, which is a lot of people. I swear, like every second person that looks at that orc asks me for the paint scheme for its skin tone, and the skin tone is. My paint scheme is not useful to anyone. I have given it out to at least a dozen people. I have yet to hear back from any one of them about them using it. Because the paint scheme has about 7 steps, and in each step there are probably 5 paint colors involved. So you have to mix 5 paint colors together to get 1 step of the paint scheme. And that's not replicatable. So the thing I need to learn as someone who wants to help more people copy my paint tutorials is how to simplify paint schemes instead of just being like, I don't know, get good at color theory. That's not a good answer.
I swear, trying to get better at painting when you're not someone who like has an artistic, like you haven't practiced since like elementary school,
Yeah.
is probably the most infuriating process of all time. When you go online, you're like, how do you paint white? Like, dude, just build up the shades, and it's like, I don't know what the fuck that means. You know?
My like 2 best suggestions for getting better as a painter is, at least for people that give good tutorials, is Duncan Rhodes, obviously, like that's not a shock to anyone.
Yeah.
And Ninjon. And Duncan Rhodes is good because for the most part he has like, I think where, I hope this won't come off offensive.
Uh-oh.
I think he's the perfect kind of painter for you.
Damn.
It's because like, well, do you want to paint a model just to paint it and never do anything with it?
Not really. Sometimes, I guess. That was a troop, sure.
Yeah, but like you pretty much are painting models to get them on the board.
I guess.
And you want your models to look good because you just want a good looking army.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not doing it as like, I just need to paint this model because I need to get this art out of me.
Sometimes, I guess.
Sometimes? Okay.
It really depends on the model.
Yeah.
Something's really called to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe not quite you then. Like you're near there, but it's just like Duncan Rhodes painting tutorials are very like step by step.
Sure.
They're not paint by numbers, but they are like you are going to use this paint at this step and then this paint at this step. Mm-hmm. And at most his mixes will be like 1 part this, 2 parts that.
Yeah.
I rarely see him mix more than 1 paint color together to create a color. And so he's really good at that because he shows you all the basics. And if you get really good at the basics, you can be an incredible painter. But if you want to, like, say, eventually get to like a golden demon level with your paint jobs, Ninjon is the better guy to go to.
Interesting.
And eventually you'll probably get off of Ninjon. Like you won't be going to him for tutorials anymore once you reach a certain level. But that's just going to be the case in most art, is like once you reach a certain level, you just stop, like, you stop learning from just one person.
Yeah.
And you're more looking for very specific skills, and you need to find them where you can find them. But Ninjon is good because he is a very skilled painter. Like, he's won a Golden Demon. Not the whole Golden Demon, like he hasn't won the Slayer Sword, but I think he placed second in the last LVO.
I believe so.
I think.
A thing.
Yeah. Anyways, he's really good at understanding what level he is teaching for. And he has a variety of levels that he teaches stuff for. Like, so there are things that he teaches that I'm like, oh, this is useless to me, but I'm glad that he has it out there because there's someone further behind in their journey as a painter that's useful for.
Yeah.
And he has tutorials for people all the way from their very first paint job up to like starting to get into Golden Demon level.
Sure.
And that's what I really like about his, is he has these wide variety of paint tutorials, but he also teaches in a way that lets you explore your style and explore just painting in general. It's not always step-by-step. There are step-by-steps that you can find through him, but most of his stuff is, I'm going to teach you how to like be better at understanding like placement. I'm going to teach you how to be better at getting more expressive with your colors. I'm going to teach you how to build a color palette, stuff like that. And that is going to be way more important if you want to get to that like Golden Demon level, because it just teaches you a much, much broader skill base that is more applicable in other situations where you don't need a step-by-step on everything, because you can start making those steps yourself. I missed some bronze on here. I gotta get that bronze. Where is okay, I used.
Hey chat, let me know if you guys want the camera closer. I think it's at a pretty good distance, but if you guys want like an even closer view, let me know and I can look into it. I think it's pretty good right now though.
So this is my gold right here, or the start of my gold. It's not gold yet, but the base color of my gold is Spartan bronze. Ooh, see?
Oh,
starting to get into like a step-by-step.
Yeah.
Metallics, I'm really good at giving step-by-steps because my metallics are mostly step-by-steps. Not a lot of mixing going on in my metallics. Also, the key to like, this is my like secret weapon with metallics, is the number one tip I have for making good metallics is you got to pick up the paint from scale 75 called White Alchemy. That paint, I don't think I'm going to get to that point on today. Maybe I will. I could just do that. If people want to see that, I guess in the chat, let us know, and
Dan,
I'll just like.
I want to see.
You want to see that?
I
Okay.
need it.
I will pick something metallic on here and try to go to the end.
I will be returning to the stream in my own time to learn from you.
Wait, is that smart?
Oh my goodness.
I gotta think about it. Basically, White Alchemy is a white metallic, and it should be the last step on almost every metallic you do, unless that metallic is like stupidly dirty.
Interesting.
You can like, this sounds dumb, but you can mimic non-metallic metallics with your metallics by using stuff like White Alchemy. Also, eventually I will do a non-metallic metallic, but for the most part I don't like non-metallic metallics.
Why don't you like it?
It's a lot of work to accomplish a thing that we already have.
Sure.
Like, we have metallic paints. Why are we... Like, it's just it's a flex for flex sake.
That's how I feel about it too. Yeah.
There's other. I think if you go into a piece where the intent is that is the stylistic choice I've chosen, then it looks dope. But I find too often people are doing a non-metallic metallic to be like, look what I can do.
Yeah.
But the rest of the model doesn't match the style of what non-metallic metallics are.
Sure.
That it looks, it doesn't look as good as for the amount of effort that it requires. It's so much effort that I can accomplish the same thing with real metallics for much less effort. So why am I killing myself on this?
In a video game.
Huh?
In a video game.
In a video game?
When you say I'm going to unalive myself, we have to say in a video game for YouTube.
In a video game?
Yeah.
What? Oh,
Now you're catching on. Yeah.
oh.
In a video game. So then we don't actually do it, YouTube.
I thought you were going to tell me a thing like...
No. I can see why you might think that.
Yeah, I thought you were going to tell me like some sort of wide sage thing you've learned from in video games.
No.
About like
I'm just covering
saving
our asses.
time? Yeah, okay, yeah. In a video game.
In a video game.
In a video game.
Yeah.
We don't want to kill ourselves in a
In
video
a video
game.
game. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dan's
Dan's learning to stream, everybody.
Hell yeah. Okay, what am I going to do with this
What are you going to do with this?
blanket?
In your head right now, what's the process you're going through?
Mostly it's just figuring out where I'm going to shade next. Oh, I should finish off this strap underneath here. We're not going to do it a lot because it's going to be mostly black. It's shadowed underneath here, so I don't need to do a lot of this.
There you go, Chad. We're going to get a bit closer just for a little bit.
There we go.
We're doing finer details. I'm trying to get as big.
Heck yeah. So yeah, now I'm just looking for more leathers. Oh man, this is already dried out.
Oh no, Dan.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We can make this work. Gonna try and get the saddle in here. There we go. Can you see what I'm doing?
Oh yeah, it looks
Heck yes.
looks great. The exact angle you're on, maybe a little bit harder, but like the detail we can see with this close up is super nice.
Heck yes.
Yeah. Again, Chad's like a first time doing this, so we're kind of learning as we're going on what the correct parameters are. And I think so far it's going pretty good, but I think this is the correct amount of closeness. This looks really sharp. At least on our end, but we get a bit higher definition than you guys do. So yeah, we'll look into it. If this becomes popular enough, people want more, we can look into doing it maybe in like a 4K stream, but those have to be pretty short. So we'll look into it.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I think I can, like 4K streams would be good to do, because you said what, it's an hour?
I could do about an hour on my camera, maybe an hour
Yeah.
and 10. I can bring a fan for about an hour and a half at most.
Because I could do, if people want like quick hobby tips and tricks, I could do streams like that.
Sure.
In 4K, because lots of my tips and tricks are something I can do in like a half hour.
Yeah, for sure.
Like have a model.
You are slightly out of frame if you want to bring it
What,
you.
this way?
No, towards you.
Towards
yourself.
me?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
That's better, sorry. Yeah.
Oh,
Excellent.
heck yeah. Well, that's good. Now I can see it better.
Yeah. I tried getting the actual camera screen to show you so you could check yourself, but it was not, it was upside down. So it was very unfortunate, yeah.
Yeah. This is more convenient than when I'm doing it at home, though, because I'm just like, I'll periodically check on the camera.
Yeah, I get that.
But I also feel like when I check, I naturally pull back. So I don't actually know if I'm ever on camera, and no one has corrected me on my streams. So I'm just hoping that it's going well, and I'm just talking to myself. But no one's also like assured me like, no, everything's fine.
Yeah.
So whenever I ask, I'm like, is this in frame? It's just silence, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll assume it is. I'll assume you guys are only going to yell if there's a fire.
Also, telling you before stream here, I was like, our dice tray froze the other day for like 5-10 minutes. No one said a thing. I had noticed, and I was like, I'm playing the game. I can't look at this right now. I was like, on camera is a weird shadow, but it's not there in real life. So what's going on? So yeah, very strange. But that's funny. I get the similar experience.
This is a part of painting where I'm just like, why didn't I sub-assembly this? Because this would make my life a lot easier.
Yeah, I remember painting this exact model, not the Kit Bash obviously, but like the original Cavalier, and I had to sub-assembly the hell out of him.
Yeah.
Gorgeous model though. I really
Oh,
enjoy
it's one of
painting
the one of the best models I would say GW has produced.
I'm sad I sold my Cities of Sigmar to Logan, but I couldn't stand fucking playing them. What a not me army.
What is a U army then?
Super fast.
Super. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So not, yeah.
If it's not super fast, it's got to be like high damage but slow. And
Okay.
they were
okay.
like middle damage, slow,
Yeah.
t-shirt saves, like really nothing I like. So it has to be like,
Gotcha.
I'm like of two extremes,
Yeah. Gotta go fast.
Yeah, when I play Ideneth, it's like, I'm over here now.
Yeah.
And I feel so good. I miss Sigmar.
Sigmar's so good.
Yeah, well, tell that to the community. Womp womp.
Just gotta join the narrative.
Honestly, Dan, I tried joining the 40K one. I had no fucking time. It made me so sad. I really wanted to get out more. I just couldn't do it.
That's
I think
fair.
I got 3 games in total.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It is, even though it's low for a 3-month campaign, it's still a lot.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you're looking at minimum 6 games
Yeah.
over 3 months.
Like
did I
now that
go
I'm
with
streaming
there?
games,
Oh, I went with-
maybe I could do them like on stream, but like I gotta know the person to bring them stream at
Yeah.
my place. It's a bit harder. If we start doing them at the store, then maybe, but like even then, it's kind of like, not so crazy about it.
Yeah.
We'll see. I gotta think about it.
Gotta weigh your options.
Hell yeah! And all I own is 9 Stormcast dragons. So, what do you do?
That's dope.
Hell yeah, it is, brother.
Do you have the big dragon?
I have one of them, Karazai.
Nice.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's super sick. Got
He's the
one shot
cooler
by
guy.
Overgluttons. Oh yeah, super cool. The other guy, Krondas, I don't like his model. He seems kind of just too humanoidy for me.
Yeah, and he's too, I don't know, he just seems too goody two-shoes.
Pretty pompous, yeah.
Yeah. Or Karazai has, like, anger issues. Which is weird that I'm, like, a fan of Karazai because he has, like, anger issues and seems like he'd probably be a problem to work with.
I don't think he talks to people, man.
Yeah, I think he just, like, murders and moves on with his life. He's more works with Stormcast because he's just like, well, I don't hate you, and you kill things that I want to kill, so that's fine. But, like, Karazai is like, maybe he's not quite there. Because this is another situation where I have, like, a thing going on in my head that I'm not voicing. So it's, no one knows where I'm going with this.
Dan, no.
What I wanted to say is Raphael is the shittiest Ninja Turtle.
Oh my god, here we go again. He's not wrong, but I just gotta say it like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a poll in chat of who the best Ninja Turtle is. We're gonna go from there.
Okay, there is a right answer.
There is a right answer, I agree.
There's a very correct answer.
Chonky Nuggies in chat, also known as Mr. Matt LaFay, known serial I won't paint any of my models guy in chat here says, this
Whoa.
could motivate me.
This is going to motivate
This
you?
can motivate him.
Heck yes.
Excellent.
Heck yes.
Best Ninja Turtle.
Who is it?
Leonardo. Michael. Add option.
Michelangelo.
Raphael.
Are you going to add all 5?
There's 5?
Yeah, there's 5
Who
now.
the fuck's the 5th?
Venus de Milo.
I forgot about her.
Yeah.
She's the pink turtle.
Yeah.
Raphael, Michael, Leonardo. Who's the last? Donatello.
Donatello.
That tells you where he's going to place in this.
Whoa! Donnie's dope.
How do you spell Michelangelo? Sorry, Michelangelo. It's okay. Do your
Oh, you
thing.
got it? You got it?
I got
okay.
Google
you
on
got
my
it.
side. This is not how I spell Michelangelo.
How are you spelling Michelangelo?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
There's a lot of A's in it that shouldn't be there.
Have I ever told you my my story about like you know how bad I am with names, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Did I tell you my story of like how I just had to like finally admit how bad I am with names to people?
No.
Like people whose names I should know, I just have to now, from now on, just say like I don't know your name even though I should.
Based.
So the way I figured that out was like the worst way to figure that out. Hello.
We have a visitor. Hi, Crystal.
Hello, Crystal.
What's up?
Happy nosy.
Yeah, come on
peek
in.
behind the camera so the chat can see you.
Oh no, I don't know. It's a very good angle.
It'll be fine. Get over here.
Hi,
Come
Kat.
say
Yo,
hi.
yo, yo.
Yay. What's up, buddy? Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Who's winning in the poll?
Oh, we have 1 vote so far, and it's for Raphael.
What?
Oh no.
Who voted for Raphael?
Can't tell you
I'm
that.
a Leo girl.
Okay, Leo's
We appreciate that.
Leo's a
I
good
did-
answer.
I did like Donatello only because he was purple.
That's a good reason.
Yeah.
That's basically
Yeah.
why I chose Michelangelo when I was
100%.
like 5.
Yeah.
I'm like, orange is a dope color. Same color as tigers.
Yeah, they don't-
That's the most Dan thing you've ever said.
That's funny. So who you got hanging out with you? Anybody we know?
I can pull up the chatter list.
We're gonna
Wow.
expose all of you.
That's right. You're about to get literally boxed in a video
What color
game.
of pants are you wearing, lady? You're gonna wear some sort of gray pants.
No one has talked to them
With a
until we tell us
hint of
active chatter.
purple.
So we have Jason,
Nice.
Matt, but there's like, how many
Wait,
chatters
I know
do we have?
both of them.
You do know both of them. We have 9 viewers though, so only 2 of them are talking in chat, that's all I can tell.
Well, at least you're being watched.
So, yeah, and I appreciate that.
Are you sick?
I'm recovering. I'm basically good. I'm just like getting it all out now.
He's
so.
a recovering
You
sickaholic.
sound so.
No, I promise you I'm not sick anymore. It's literally just been like,
I have a strong immune system. I'm not worried about it. But I was just like, it's more or less like, are you okay?
no, I appreciate you.
That's how I sound after I've been crying.
If I thought I was too sick, I definitely wouldn't be here. Raphael still winning the vote with
What the
67%
heck?
out of 3 votes.
Wow.
Michelangelo is second at 33%.
Well, fair.
This is a disappointing
Well, Dan,
result.
I'm glad you're down a peg.
I'm gonna tell you why Raphael sucks. Okay, so I
Alrighty.
should state though, new Raphael in a Mutant Mayhem movie, dope. He turned me around.
Why?
He turned me around
What'd he
because
do?
he wasn't. So first, I have to explain why OG Raph is the worst. Because OG Raph, basically, anyone that watched Ninja Turtles, the original Ninja Turtles 80s cartoon, like I did, every single episode had the exact same plot line, which was Raph got mad at his brothers, thought he could do it on his own,
Can't do it on his
ran
own.
off in anger to do it on his own. Yeah, couldn't do it on his own. And then his brothers had to come together and save him. And then he was like, oh my God, I need you guys. That was every episode.
Yeah.
Every episode. Raph was just useless. He was constantly causing problems. If Raph would just get over himself and not be such a douche, then they would have no problems. Shredder would have been like unalived in a video game. I was trying to remember what I needed to say. And the show would have been like, we could have moved on to space dinosaurs a lot sooner. And no, we had to deal with Raph's problems. But in new Ninja Turtles, the Mutant Mayhem one, they do Raph much better, where Raph is not just like, I have anger issues all the time. Raph has like a hard time controlling, he just feels emotions really big.
Interesting.
All emotions though, like, and he's loud and he's abrasive and he's very lovable, but you can still see that you could still have those storylines where Raph feels like he's better than everyone and doesn't need anyone. But that's not the only storyline you can do with Raph. And guess what? The storyline of that movie was not based on Raph thinking he could do it all on his own and ruining everything for everyone. That movie had a different storyline that involved all the turtles. It wasn't just the Raph show.
Sorry, everybody. We're about to get a bit of camera turbulence. Josh
Oh,
is
no.
just fixing something. It's nothing major.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like the most minor thing in the universe. Oh, here, Dan. It's actually, I think it's fixed itself now. You ever want to see how your angle is?
Ooh.
There you go.
Ooh. Whoa, I need to go here.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
And then if
There we
she
go.
gets out of focus, I just tap that and we're good. Cool. Should be good now. Sorry, chat.
Cute.
Cool. It just wasn't participating earlier, so now I'm not sure why it's working now. Today is a day of technology works when it wants, and I'll live with it. It's my absolute favorite.
Yeah. Huh.
No questions from chat yet. You all make me so sad. What are you guys working on? What's happening? Oh, 7 votes. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna let the poll run for 7 more minutes, then I'll close it. Dan, I got bad news coming your way, man.
I
On 7 votes, Raphael's still winning.
I don't believe this.
I almost feel like they're doing it out of spite.
Yeah, probably. Raphael is just it's not cool. Not cool, guys.
Can you
Teamwork.
believe
Brotherly love.
what they did to the Shredder in that last live action movie?
Oh yeah, but that's
What are they doing, bro?
that's been a thing for a while.
I hate it.
Like where he's the little
He's a robot?
yeah. Oh right, he's a robot.
Yeah.
He's like they've had reveals like that before. There was a cartoon in the 2000s where he got revealed as one of the little Krang squids. Do you know what the Krang squids are?
No.
They're like these little aliens that are just like a little brain with like little tentacles, and they control little robot bodies. And Shredder was like a warlord of them that then got like pushed off his planet because the rest of the Krangs were like, get off, like you suck, you're way too warmongery. And so they kicked him off their planet, and he ended up on Earth and built himself a samurai body for reasons unknown. And it's like revealed like 4 seasons in, the turtles discover this. Dope.
That's so interesting.
Also, again, when they meet the space dinosaurs.
Space dinosaurs?
Yeah, there's space dinosaurs.
We're going to come back to this.
'Kay.
Maxamaru in chat asks, any tips for getting good highlights of metallic paints?
Oh, yeah, white alchemy.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah, white alchemy. That's the secret sauce. This guy right here, white alchemy. That is your like best highlighting tool for all of your metallics. You need to treat metallics like you would treat any other paint. So start with your darkest metallic as your base. So like this metal right here for this, what is going to end up being a silver for me is black metal from scale 75. And then my second layer will be, I'm going to have to look. I don't know what it's called off the top of my head. My second metal is chainmail. And I use the Game Air version. That'll come into the next, or one of the later steps. So I'll do, so we do black metal. Then we do chainmail. You don't need to do the air version. I'll tell you why I use the air version afterwards when we get to that part of the step. And then I go to silver. So you can kind of see those differences there, though this bottle's a little white, so it looks like these two are nearly the same color. And then white alchemy. But usually before I get to this point, I'll do these 3. And these 3 will have like quite stark layers between them. But this one, because it's an air paint, it's thinner. And so you can use this one to kind of blend the others if you paint it on very, very thin. And then usually after I do this, I'll put on a wash. Then I will typically go back over with another highlight of this and another highlight of this. Then I will blend them again with this guy on top of that. And then my final step is white alchemy. And you just use that on just the very, very like highlighting parts. So you'll just do that on like, I'm trying to think of it like, I don't know. She doesn't have any like good, really obvious examples. But like the tips of, so actually you can see it in the light, how the light is casting off of this metal. So where the light is the most bright, that's where I'm gonna hit it with that white alchemy. Like you can see like how as it moves across the breastplate here, right where that light is hitting at the highest, that's where I'm hitting it with the white alchemy so that it keeps that shine. And it's gonna make your stuff look dope. It's gonna make it pop. Fun fact, you can use that white alchemy on any metal. I use it on golds all the time. The only time, like I said earlier, that you don't use the white alchemy is a very dirty metal. So a metal that has 0 shine to it, don't use the white alchemy. Otherwise it's gonna look real weird and ridiculous. Just shine on metals that are dirty is typically weird. Metals don't shine if they're dirty. They shine when they're clean.
So how much would you use? Like say on that front breastplate there, like how much white alchemy would you put on that?
Not a lot. Like very, very little.
Right.
Like I'm gonna be using a brush like I have right now, which is a very small brush. And I'm just going to do like very sharp lines. Like I said, you kind of want to treat it like an edge highlight.
Sure.
So you're not going that far with it, and you're getting very concentrated with it. You're not going to blend it typically. You're going to leave those like stark differences in color, because that's one of the things that like separates metal and how we create different textures with our paints is by the way we shade them. So like this thing I'm painting right here is part of the reins for our horse, and that's going to be some sort of cloth. So I've decided it's some sort of cloth. Cloth, typically the shadows are gradual. If you want to get like really fancy with your cloth, you could try and like put in texture in there to create like this idea of weaves and stuff like that. So you would do cross hatching to create weaves. But for the most part, when I'm going to do this, because this is a pretty big piece, and so that would be you'd have to get really, really close to be able to see the weaves on this of the cloth. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do it a nice, even blend with a glaze. And it's going to be a gradual blend, and it's going to go nicely and gradually from this lightest color to this darkest color. And that's how we'll get our colors on there, and that's how we'll sell that it's cloth. But with metal, metal isn't like nice and gradual because it's shinier. It's a lot starker, so you can see like the top of my pop can here. Wow, I'm really good with words. What's that?
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. That's why that's where we're looking just at the top. But you can see how much different, like even if you look at my hand, here. I'm gonna show you, yeah, you'll be able to see 3 different things. Rah, there we go. So we have 3 different things here. So the colors on my hood, it's not the best option because it's black, it's not showing that well. But the gradual color on my hand is a much more gradual shift in tone, whereas on the pop bottle, it's a much starker change in color and tone. And so it jumps from colors much faster. So like you can see right up here, the only problem is when I point at it with my finger, I create a shadow. So you see it's like practically white right there. Like it's not practically white, it is white right there. And then like not even half a centimeter away, it's super black. Like it's about halfway between the black of this paintbrush to the white of that highlight. And that happens just like super, super fast. Whereas on my finger, as my finger gradually goes from here to there, you can start to see that here is where my highest highlight is, right here. And it's already, as I move across, it's slowly shifting until we get to our darkest part over here. But all of that is a gradual shift as we go along. So that's how we create different textures, is by paying attention to how the light affects them. So like on this model, my shadows and highlights on here are going to be fast and quick because they're metallic. Same thing with even my leather. This leather is going to be like a cured leather that has been tanned and had treatment done to it, and leather tends to have a shine to it. So it's also going to have a sharper change in the colors. So it's going to be much sharper. Like we're going to be very close to these kind of like the highlights and shadows that I've already set up. We're going to do some transitioning, but it's not going to be a lot. Whereas this cloth is going to be, actually the cape's a really good example showing. This is going to be a very slow, gradual like shift. So if we look back here, we have our shadow. Let me see. Okay, so we have our shadow starting right here. I'll hold it up even closer. We have our shadow starting right here. And even though my highlight is starting here, where it's actually going to start when I'm finished this is up here. So from here to here is going to shift from this color all the way up to that color. So it's going to take all of that distance to shift. Whereas if it was a metal, it would be, my highlight would be here and my shadow would start here. Like it would start basically right as it comes up the curve. Because if we look at this image from above, you can't see that shadow that my brush is on anymore. And then when I turn, now you can see that shadow. So even though we're doing this general transition, it's cloth, it's going to have a slower transition, whereas metal is just going to be like harsh cut. So
I feel like I took an art class and I actually understood what was happening. I became a better painter in that like 10-minute spiel. Thank you so much.
hopefully, we'll see. I gotta get better. I'm more used to teaching. Like I've been teaching comics for 10 years or 15 years. I can never remember how old I am. And man, and same thing with like 2D art. I can rattle off teaching 2D art and comics really fast, and I've got a butt ton of tutorials for both. But painting, I'm just starting to get into teaching it, so I'm still learning how to teach it better. There are certain things I'm really good at teaching with it, but I'll have to get there with other things.
A personal Josh question now.
Yeah.
When you're like highlighting like the harness, like the rope she's holding,
Yeah.
how do you decide how much like the original base coat stays there and what gets highlighted?
Oh.
I know
This
I
is
talked
a
about
no,
lighting.
more. This is one of the questions in art that I have basically. It's a disappointing answer.
No, Dan. God damn it.
It's you have to study light a lot. It's just there's no easy tricks. Well, actually, you know what? In miniature painting, there is an easy trick. I shouldn't say that. In regular 2D art, there's no easy trick. Sure. You just have to study lighting a lot. So you use references as much as you can, and eventually, when you do it long enough and you understand how lighting works, you will just understand where to start and where to stop. With miniatures, there is actually an easier cheat. It's something I don't do very often, but every once in a while I'll do it. I probably should have done it on this model, but I just wasn't bothered. By the time I remembered to do it, I was like, I'm too far along in the process. I'm not going to worry about it. The amount that it's helped me is little with where I'm at in my art journey, but it's going to help people that are starting to learn lighting a lot. Like it will help you a lot. So the advantage we have with models for teaching us lighting is models exist in the real world. And they exist in a 3D space, whereas a 2D drawing doesn't. So 2D drawings, we're trying to create and mimic something that is three-dimensional. Models, we don't have to mimic and create something three-dimensional, and we don't have to try and mimic how it interacts with things in three dimensions. So what that means is, if you want to know how to light your model, light it.
Okay.
So before you paint this model, before you do any of your base coating on this model, paint it black, gray, white, whatever your base coat is going to be. You do your primer. You take a light like the one, no one can see me. I'm pointing to a light off camera off here that I have, a lamp. Take a lamp that you can control and that is very movable, so not like the light in your room. You're going to shut off the lights and use that light source to pick where you want to light your model from. So we would set our model up here. If I want to light it like it's the sun and the sun is casting shadows this way, it's starting to get low, then that's where I put my light, turn off the lights, take a picture of my model, and it'll show you where the shadows need to be. So you now have a reference and you can just move around. Be careful to not move the model around, because if you keep the light here and you move the model around, you're now moving the light, which is not giving you consistency. So what you need to do is like set it on a table, pick your light source. I need to stop hitting stuff. Turn off your lights. You'll be able to see how it's hitting the model. Take a picture, move around your model in every direction that you can, and take those pictures. Now you'll have perfect reference of how light affects the model and where your highlights and shadows need to be. It's not going to be able to mimic something like metals perfectly. Like you could do it if you say painted this whole thing black and then put your metallics on just the parts that are going to be metallic. Then you'll be able to mimic it somewhat. but it gives you a base to start and figuring out how does light work. Like, how does light affect a three-dimensional model?
Follow-up question from Mr. Maximaru. He says, awesome possum. Also, as a follow-up, how do you feel about using red washes in the shadows of gold metallics?
Good. I use them quite often. It's basically, that's where you're starting to get into color theory. So the easy thing to do with washes is, like, the easy wash and the wash that we all love is Nuln Oil, because it's black. Well, at least we used to. It feels like people have lost their love with the new formula. But the reason why Nuln Oil is so universally good at being a wash on everything is because everything shadows to black. So I was talking about that earlier. Everything, eventually, all colors can become black. Like, you can shadow any color to black. So shadowing something using a Nuln Oil that mimics shadows is good because everything goes black. But the reason why red washes work good on golds is because there's more to it than just darken it with black to make shadow. Is light affects us in a bunch of different ways. And one of the big ways is that black desaturates as it goes, as it darkens, whereas a red doesn't desaturate, or like a blue doesn't desaturate as much as the black will. And since gold is a warm metallic, shadowing it with a red wash leaves us with a more vibrant feel to the gold, and makes the gold feel a lot more alive by shadowing it that way, because it's more natural. That gold actually shadows. It goes from like its purest white gold into the kind of that yellowy orange gold that we know, and then it gets more red until it eventually becomes black. And that's why we use it there. It's also why we don't use blue on it, because it'll start to make it look ugly. But yeah, I really like it. Like, one of my favorite shades for gold metallics is Skeleton Horde and Agaros Dunes.
Sure.
Agaros?
I have no idea.
What is it? I have it here. Hold on. Agaros Dunes. Yeah, Agaros Dunes?
I've never used it.
Agaros Dunes. That color. That's a dope shade for golds. That's one of the reasons why I absolutely love contrasts, because they like double up on so many things. Oh wait, why am I there? That's some purple that I missed.
Oh yeah, I'd agree. I used I think it's the silicon gray contrast paint on my golds, and it was just like, man, what an amazing way to use contrast. Contrast over any metallic is super, super cool.
Yeah.
We have the one and only Dan Wardle in chat asking,
Oh snap!
for the third time, what model is that?
Is it the third time? I thought it was the second time.
I believe it's been 3 times.
Okay. This is the Field Marshal Cavalier from Cities of Sigmar, and a Reductus Saboteur for the torso, and there are 3 models in this.
Oh my goodness.
This is you know this. What AdMech has this long cool gun?
Scatros.
Yeah, the best gun. No, not Scatros. Scatros is
The tall sniper guy.
no, yeah, not him. The guy in the regular Skitarii unit that has this gun.
Oh, it's the transonic rifle.
Yeah.
Okay.
That transonic rifle. That's where I got that from. So it is 3 models in here. And then I hand sculpted the hat.
I hand sculpted the hat because
Yeah.
I'm so talented. I'm an artist. Yeah, well, I tried using green stuff once to do cloaks. Let me say, that project went right into the bin, buddy. So.
Cloaks are difficult. They're one of the harder ones to do. Like, as someone who's been sculpting like a madman lately, cloaks still annoy me the most. I know there's an easier way to do them than I'm doing them, but yeah, they're tricky.
Maybe we
and I sculpted a good chunk of this cape.
Could have fooled me, buddy.
He has his arms. What's his arm doing? Is his arm going up?
I don't think so.
I think his arm's going up or something. I can't remember.
The
but
guy in the
there's
original
something
kit?
basically like right here.
Oh,
This
the
whole
Marshall.
chunk, yeah, on the Marshall. this whole chunk I had to sculpt in. I also had to blend it into, the Reductus Saboteur has this like dope scarf, I guess, around her neck. And so I needed to blend those in together. But yeah, there's something right here. There's like, I sculpted this whole part of the cloak here because I needed it to blend into the rest of her since I gave her a resting arm pose instead of his less resting arm pose. Sure. That's how words work.
Are we learning today, chat? Are we all pretty happy with it?
I do like that Wardle is asking us questions in the chat and he's like outside our door.
Yeah, literally. I'm glad he's not in here. Be like, hey guys. I'm kidding, Dan. You come visit anytime, buddy.
Wait, Crystal come in.
Yeah, Crystal was great.
Wait, does that mean Crystal was off work?
No. She was
I have
around
chocolate.
longer. You have chocolate.
Did you know I have chocolate?
I did not know you had chocolate.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That is an awesome thing to remember.
It was really awesome when Wardle came on the Red Claw YouTube account to come say hi to us in chat one time. That was pretty fun.
We have a Red Claw YouTube account?
They're all Google accounts now, so I think it just is.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I asked if we were doing this on the Red Claw one, because if we were, you have to request live streaming access 24 hours in advance.
Holy crap, that sucks.
Yeah, the first time we do it at least. So that's how in our first live stream. I was like, oh, I guess we got to do Twitch, I guess, LOL, and that didn't work out either for other reasons.
But isn't Twitch better?
For like 1,000 reasons, no.
What? Okay.
Less discoverability. They cap you at 720p unless you like have a contract.
Oh. I did not know this.
Yeah, you can do 4K streaming on YouTube if you want, which is super based. On Twitch, it's already so oversaturated. It's so hard to navigate that website to find. Like, you have to go out of your way to discover a small niche creator. Or on YouTube, you just get recommended. Like, that's how I picked up Coffee and Azith is just like people being like, where'd you find us? Oh, it was recommended to us. So yeah, super cool. I was talking to JR, and he was like, yeah, I looked up a battle report between, I think, Thousand Suns at one point, and yours was the first thing that came up. And I was like, okay. So YouTube's definitely better for that. From what I'm told as well, you also make more money off YouTube in the future. So it's kind of based.
Ooh, okay.
More music access on YouTube. If it's on YouTube, you can use it. So,
What?
Yeah. That's what I'm told, at least, by my instructor in school.
What?
Yeah, so that's pretty sweet.
So we can steal anything off of YouTube?
Essentially, as long as in the YouTube Creator Suite is my understanding. So like, they'll have like its own,
That's handy to know.
Slightly more complicated than I was saying, but it is a lot freer than Twitch for it to be like, I hope they have the rights to this, LOL.
Yeah, I've just given up on that on Twitch. I'm just like,
oh yeah.
I've done the rude thing on Twitch where I will find like copyright-free music to play on my stream while I'm working. But then I will put in my headphones and listen to good music.
Yeah.
And just have a great time listening to that and not caring at all that no one else gets to listen to good music. Mostly because, I don't want those, I don't know, I guess like in theory it's not the worst thing in the world, but I don't want those copyright strikes on the VOD.
Yeah.
And have I used those VODs for anything else that the copyright strike would have ruined? Not yet. But
I get you 100%.
better to get into that habit before I go like, oh man, that was dope. I'm going to use that, and then actually I've had those moments, but still I haven't done anything with it. I get to the point of like, that was dope. I should like edit that out and reshare that, and then I don't.
Everyone tells me, like everything I read online, even in my class, my social media class, everything I do, they're like, you should make shorts. You will grow pretty quickly. They're a cheat code. And I'm like, yeah, I should. I got a lot of great moments. I'm not going to do that though.
Hey, it's just like, I have to think. I don't want to think.
Exactly. I got to scrub through my like 2-3 hour long stream for like that one exact moment. Hopefully it's a good enough cut,
Okay, we're going to move on to that.
Jet Purple Fox in chat says, how do you paint highlights on black clothing?
Oh, we're basically going to do that right now because I'm going to do this black blanket, which, it's not clothing, but blankets are like clothing. You can be a really cool person and just wear a blanket as clothing, and that's dope. I'm down for that.
It's 2025, man.
Yeah, if you're at home, don't go out in public doing that, but...
Just the blanket buck naked underneath? Yeah, bud, let's do it.
It's probably not recommended.
I'm gonna
do another color mix here. But we're gonna go up to like nearly this color is this dark sea gray. No idea where I got this color from. I don't know why I look up there. Like if I look up there, people are going to see my facial expression. They're not. But we're going to mix dark sea gray. And but I don't want it to be just gray. I'm going to add in the tiniest hint of purple.
Ooh, I love alien purple.
Yeah, alien purple's dope. It's one of the best purples. If not the best purple, maybe. Just because I don't want it to be drab, and I want to continue. I don't know how many people were here when I was talking about my the story of my colors in my army, but she's gonna have a little bit more purples. There's this like purpley. It's not a purple. Why am I? It is a purple. It's like a violet. Sorry, it's like a violet. There's like a violet purpley color that I use for religious figures in my army. And this lady, Boss Dixie Gallows, she's just an all-around dope lady in the army, and she does a lot. Mostly because she's my favorite, so she gets to do the most. But yeah, I want to add a little bit more purple into her colors so that it's kind of subtly hinting at this story that I've created for them, where the colors tell us what their role is. Da-da-da. But yeah, we're going to do a highlight on this, so we're going to bring it up. One of the things that I also recommend, it's like my favorite thing in the world now for helping people with paint, is, probably can't see it at that angle. There we go.
Better now, yeah, for sure.
Is if you don't know how to highlight something, like how far to push it, how to what color you should go up to, go take a look at an army painter rack right now. Because Army Painter, I'm sure you can also find it online. You probably don't need to walk into the store to look at the Army Painter rack. But Army Painter now has this thing called, I don't know what it's called. Expanded like triad system, or it's like the, whatever. It's their something triad system. Basically, all their colors are in groups of 6. And what they do is they group them together in a way where it's like the one on the furthest left. The one on the furthest left is your shadow. And the one on the furthest right is your highlight. Could you push further than what they have on there? Yes, totally. And in lots of cases, I would recommend just pushing just a little bit further on both sides. But it's such a good example of how far you need to push your colors. So even though this thing isn't going to be quite black, but it's going to be close to black, you can see like this color I mixed is definitive. Oh, whoa, no, you can't see. There you go. This color that I mixed is definitively not black. So painting your blacks, you need to paint not black. You need to go up, way up in tone. And it all depends on what kind of like color you are doing. So this is going to be more true black. There's a tiny bit of purple tones in it, but not a crazy amount. It just gives us the like smallest of hint that there is color to this. And that'll just make it feel a little bit more alive than a regular black blanket. And give it a little bit more character. And then afterwards, I would glaze down into my blacks. So I'll keep my shadow. I'm gonna do like more of a cell shade look, where my highlights, you can see it all across this model. Like the best spot you can see it is on this cloak, is my blacks are just like blocks of blacks. In comics, we call it spotting blacks. So you're just picking out big chunks of black color, and that's our shadow. And you can leave it at that way, and then you get yourself, like I was just saying and describing, this what's called a cell shaded look. More typical what you would see in like older cartoons. Well, maybe not older cartoons, but like 80s and 90s cartoons. You see it a lot in like comics from like the 90s. And it's just this way of kind of coloring our things. But if you want to push it after that into a more realistic shading, you will glaze from your highlight into your shadow. The way I'm going to glaze is probably, in this case, I'll probably use basilicum gray. This is a thing that I've been talking about on my past 2 streams. I am claiming that I discovered this. I'm sure someone else has done this. I can't be the only one that has figured this out with contrast. There's just no way. I don't paint enough to be the first person to figure this out. But a lot of contrasts work really good as a glaze right out of the bottle. You have to play around with different ones. Not all of them do. But they're like semi-translucent consistency makes them ideal for glazing. So what I'm going to do with this one, we'll see, maybe not on her because she's a fancier model, but I've been doing it on a lot of my models for this army. Like when I work on one of my aberrants on a stream later this week, you'll be able to see me do it on one of the aberrants. I use my contrast to glaze their skin tones together. I should have brought some of my other models with me so that I had examples to show about what I'm talking about that are finished and not 1/3 done. But yeah, so probably use basilicum gray to glaze down. If you don't know what a glaze is, glazes are thin paints that are semi-translucent that create you basically a filter. It's a filter of color. And so you're still seeing the color that goes underneath the paint through the paint. The thinner you make that paint, the weaker the filter is. The weaker the filter is, the better you can make a transition. So, I'm gonna try and say this in a math way that kind of makes sense. It's not fully true, but it helps explain it without me visually showing you it. I would visually show you it, but I don't. This is not the step. I'm not at that step in the process on this model, and I'm not going to ruin this model just to show you. So imagine if you took a color, so like say the color red, and you were to put red on top of black, and it's a red glaze, and you have that glaze at 25% opacity. So you have it at 25% of the color will show through. So if I paint my first layer of red onto the black, that's 25% of that red has now covered the black. So it's not going to be the full color of the red, but it's also not going to be the full color of the black anymore. Now, after that red has dried, it's still at 25%, each layer I paint on. If I now paint on another layer of that red, but I pull back halfway from where I painted, everything that I paint will now be at 50% red, 50% black. And if we're pulling back gradually, we're going from 100% black to 75%, 25% red, 50-50. And then you can see how we can slowly create a transition in our colors by painting on more layers of this. Third layer, 75% red, 25% black, and the fourth layer is going to be now fully red. So that's how we create shadows and how we create good highlights, is we pick something that is the highest point of the color we want to get to. So if it's a well-lit model, black is going to shade up into like a gray. Like if it's an extremely well-lit model, it can almost highlight up into a white. It's a very rare situation that's going to happen, but you're going to more likely be into a gray, like the gray I have going on here. That turned off. Is that a concern?
Oh, it's totally fine.
Oh, okay,
Just
cool.
haven't been touching a bit. Thank you, though.
No worries. I was just like, am I talking to no
Don't
one?
worry, I got monitoring here. We're good. Yeah.
That's true. I guess
I would be
you wouldn't
freaking
just be
out.
staring at that being like, he doesn't know.
I'm like, yeah, what the fuck?
But yeah, so that's how we create our highlights. You have to forgive me. I can be rambly at times, so if I got off topic and didn't answer the question properly, you can always be like, yeah, but I actually asked you, like, what's your favorite chip?
Sorry for shaky cam chat. I was doing turn the screen back on for Dan so we can see.
Ah,
That's all.
ta-da!
Hell yeah. We got about another 50-ish minutes here, chat, till about 8 o'clock. I think we're good there. But Dan, I said about an hour ago I'd end that poll in 7 minutes. I may have forgotten to end it.
That's okay.
So I finally have the final results for you.
Yeah.
At 14%, this is
Son of-
14 votes. 14% Leonardo.
Oh, okay. 14 votes?
14 votes.
14%?
Yeah.
So you had 100 votes?
No. So 14 votes total. Sorry, is what I mean.
Oh, yeah, that's not
if I had
how
100 votes, that'd
14%
be sick.
works.
That'd be awesome.
Okay.
The next 14% of the 14 votes, there you go, it's Michelangelo.
Heck yeah. The right answer.
Donatello, landing in second place at 28%.
Okay, that's not bad.
Raphael at 42.
42 votes for Raphael.
Yeah,
This is a travesty.
it is a travesty.
Do we have that many people in the chat?
We have 10 right now.
How did we get that many votes?
People come in and out.
That many people just came in and out? They
Yeah.
just came in to like troll about Raphael and
Yeah.
leave? Aye.
People that you come into a random stream and they have a Ninja Turtle poll on, you're just putting
Terrible.
your opinion, man.
It's terrible.
I'd vote in that poll. I know this is gonna be a Barbie stream. Like, yeah, man, Raphael, hell yeah.
Oh my God. Which is your favorite Barbie?
Oh my goodness. My sister used to collect all the Barbies. My basement used to be flooded with, instead of Warhammer, with Barbies. I'm trying to think back now. Oh God. What's your favorite Barbie?
Let's do this hat. Oh, that is a good question. I don't know. My sister used to have this Barbie that would, it had like a little push-out pregnant belly.
Oh my God.
You could like pop it in and like she would be like not pregnant and then you could put it on and put a little baby in it. I remember having that thing get eaten by my T-Rex a lot. Yeah. So I guess that was my favorite Barbie.
You know what? Whatever answer I had is just that now. That's my favorite Barbie. That's insane.
That was a dope Barbie.
That's a great Barbie. How do we do it, chat? How's our little projects going?
Oh no! There we go.
Have a couple first-time chatters in here today, which is
Ooh,
really nice.
first-time chatters.
Always love to see you guys.
Who's our first-time chatters?
So we have Dr. Stab. Earlier he was asking
Oh.
if you're the guy doing the narrative.
Oh,
campaign.
yeah.
I said yep. So he said awesome. Max and Mar, we know Max, but
Yeah.
first time chatting on the thing. That's awesome. We had Jet Purple Fox, as we just said hello to, told him about
Yeah.
painting black for like 20 minutes. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hope that was a good answer. I thought it was a good answer. It was really in depth. And then we have Francois Marion, who
Ooh.
also had his own answer about
Ooh.
highlighting black,
Ooh.
which is cool. Thank you so much
It's
for
a
talking.
dope
guys.
name.
Yeah, honestly, French people have the best names.
I'll support that.
Good.
Maybe do they?
Not from Quebec though. We don't believe in Quebec.
No, but I don't think they do have the best names.
Where's the best names?
Like, it's probably Spaniards.
Give me one good Spaniard name.
It's like half of my army is like Spaniard names.
Yeah?
Valentine Valdez.
Oh, okay. You know what? You sold me.
Just that last name, Valdez.
Sorry, Francois. You got beat on this one.
Yeah. It's like what?
Sorry, Francois and chat coming in hot. Wheelchair-bound EMT Barbie's my favorite Barbie.
Yes.
That's a base Barbie pick.
That's a great
There's
Barbie
some
pick.
wild Barbies out there.
Barbie's had a full life.
Yeah, dude. She's living her best dream.
Yeah.
Real empowerment.
Did you watch the movie?
I haven't, but I really want
What?
to. I know. I've always wanted
What?
to. I just want to go out to movies.
It's like, you know that you don't have to go out to movies. Like, movies can come to you.
I mean, yeah. but I
Like,
gotta pay
and that
for
movie's been
movies.
out for a while. It's on like, what is it on? Like, it's on like Crave. It's on,
What's on
Prime.
Crave? I'll watch it. I'm literally in love with Margot Robbie. So
And you haven't watched it?
I know. I'm
Jesus.
upset with myself.
Jesus. What the heck? What in the actual heck?
Dan, we've had a debate recently amongst, I say recently, last 3 months.
Yeah.
At one point, I called someone turbo hot, and they were like, that's really stupid, Josh. And I'm like,
No,
well,
it's not.
I agree, it's not. And they're like, what does that even mean? And I'm like, Margot Robbie. And they're like, Margot Robbie's not turbo hot. Do you think Margot Robbie is what you define as turbo hot?
No.
Who is? That's always what stumps people.
I'm trying to think. Who is turbo hot? I feel the problem is that the turbo hot people that I can think of, I don't actually know their name.
Ooh, can't be that turbo hot.
Yeah, because so turbo hot has to be just like surface level. Like, if I don't know anything about them, there's just like, holy crap, that person is like incredibly good looking.
Well, no, then they're incredibly good looking. Doesn't mean they're turbo hot, because otherwise you just said that person is turbo hot.
Yeah, that's what? No, so like, but it just has to be a looks thing. Like, you can't include the personality into turbo hot. So like, Margot Robbie.
It's turbo hot.
No.
Oh my god, this is crazy right now.
She's like, okay. For science, and why she, to me, can't be turbo hot. How many memes have you seen of like these 4 actresses all look alike and Margot Robbie's in those?
None.
Lots of them. Tons of them.
I haven't seen them
yet.
yet.
I'll find them and I'll send them to you.
Okay.
If you have any sort of meme that is based on she looks like a bunch of other people, you're not turbo hot anymore. Turbo hot, for me, you got to be in like this category where it's just like your hotness has like never been captured before. Like, and potentially will never be captured again. You know who's up there for turbo hot?
Who?
You probably don't know this. Someone in the chat will. Jason will hopefully have my back here if Jason's still there. Raquel Welch.
How do you spell Raquel?
Raquel Welch. Julie Newmar. That's also another one. Julie Newmar. Julie Newmar.
Newmar.
Like, turbo hot.
Hold on.
You also have to find a picture of her from like the 70s.
Being young?
Yeah.
I'm working on it. Okay, I found a relatively young picture of her.
Yeah. Did you find her as
This isn't
Catwoman?
turbo hot.
Yeah, she is.
That's not turbo.
Find Julie Newmar as Catwoman.
As Catwoman, she's
Yeah.
like...
She's incredible.
She's moderately
turbo
hot.
hot. What?
She's
No,
hot,
get
but
out of
she's not
town.
turbo hot.
Get out of town.
I'm sorry.
Raquel Welch.
How do you spell
Raquel Welch.
Welch.
Raquel.
Welch.
And then I think Welch is like
I see it.
Wel. Yeah.
Yeah.
She turbo hot.
Dude, your type is showing it. It's the same mine, brother. This woman's not even close to even like normal hot at young age.
Oh my God.
She's like attractive. She's pretty, but she's not
Watch
turbo
watch her on the Muppets, and tell me that's not turbo hot.
Francois in chat saying Raquel Welch was a goddess.
Yeah. See, that's what's got me. Raquel Welch.
But I'm like this, man.
Yeah.
Another,
Raquel Welch is turbo hot.
Another question from Jet Purple Fox. Are wet palettes better?
Yes.
I loved your painting advice.
Yeah. Way better. Biggest reason why, especially if you live in Alberta like us, is we're way too dry. Even if you are in like a moist climate, like Vancouver or something, it's still just like they keep your paints wet. And you want your paints to be wet so you can continue painting with them. The longer they stay wet, the more paint you get used out of it. You can see, look at, I spilt that much, well, not spilt, I intentionally splurted out that much paint to paint that much on there. Was that stupid of me? Yes. Is it still wet in some spots? Yes. So I could technically still be painting with that one color. But like this red took me forever to get to the level it's at. I'm still probably gonna put another layer on it. And that red would dry out so fast without my wet palette. Like you can already see, I wetted this thing when we started this. We've only been going, what, 2 hours?
An hour 58.
An hour 58. And this thing's already starting to dry. That's how wet or dry our climate is. What the heck was I painting? completely forgot what I... Oh, the hat. Yeah. It's like, what was I doing with my life? So yeah, it's just like they help keep your paints moist. I don't know a single person who has used a wet palette and then thought, not for me. Like, can you think of anyone that uses a wet palette and then stopped?
No.
Yeah, like they're so good at keeping your paints wet, which is what you need. And then especially in Alberta, there will be some people that will claim to you that like your wet palettes, like especially these army painter ones that close, you can close them, leave them overnight, and come back to your paints the next day. Maybe in another climate, not in Alberta.
Yeah.
But it'll keep your paint wet long enough for you to do stuff with in Alberta.
Go take a shower, do your laundry. Come back, paint. I've done it.
Yep. They are dope.
Yeah, the first time you use a wet palette, you hear all the hype online. You're so hesitant to do it.
Yeah.
Dry palette's so easy. Pull it out, do your thing. But, man, I can't go back.
I used to use my glue that I would get was I would go to the dollar store and buy those dollar, like they're $1 for a little tiny thing of glue, super glue.
Yeah.
Or it's crazy glue. It's crazy glue branded. And it would come in a little like pill bottle container. For the longest time, probably 4 years of me painting, I used the tops of those lids as my palette. I have no idea how it went 4 years. Painting
so funny.
nearly I painted like a 2,000 point army with just those things as my palette.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
That's
It
crazy.
was stupid. And then, actually, no, I don't even know if I bought this until I got to the shop. I don't know what I was using. I've been painting without a wet palette for, I think, longer than I have been painting with a wet palette. I don't know why.
I remember when I used to work here, before Kit came back, they were still working here, and they came up to me, I think on one of their last days, like, I finally bought a wet palette, and it has changed my life. And they were just like,
oh, it's so good.
You're so right, Josh. Like, yeah, I know. I know.
Where am I going next?
Where
Should
are
do
we going
something
next?
with this.
We demand the white alchemy on the metal,
The
Daniel.
white alchemy. Okay, I'm gonna do some.
demand
I'll
it.
do some of the metal.
We need to see.
Look, we're gonna switch up the paintbrush too.
Oh my goodness.
Heck yeah. I don't know if we're gonna get to white alchemy point, but we will. I'll start working on the metal so you can kind of see how that's gonna look. I also do this. I don't know. Well, no, it does work. I do this thing with my natural hairbrush where I just take my fingernail and like scrape it along the bottom to push the paint out of the base when it's still wet, and then lick that bitch.
This is
Yeah.
insanity what I'm watching right here.
Why don't what scares you about licking it?
I don't want the chemicals in my mouth, man.
It's not chemicals. Well, it is chemicals.
Yeah, it is chemicals.
I don't know why I was trying to claim it's not chemicals.
a liar.
It is, but also think about it. I was hoping something would come to me as I was saying that nothing came to me, but
You swirl it around.
Okay,
Like a dirty paint
this is-
spot.
this is my stupid thing. There was this is gonna be. I don't know if I'm gonna get back to this point because we're gonna go off on a tangent for a bit, and then I'm gonna come back. Did you ever read Marvel Wolverine Origins, the comic? Like, so the origin story of Wolverine?
No.
Okay, so in the origin story of Wolverine, young little James Howlett
Yeah.
was like a sickly little boy growing up in like colonial Alberta.
Okay. Oh, he is from Alberta. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. He's from Alberta. So he was like a sickly little colonial boy growing up in Alberta. And he like was just like constantly sick. His dad was like this guy, a rich guy taking care of him, and he's just like, oh, my poor little James, he's such a sickly child, always having diseases and flus and colds and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, story goes on, things happen. Eventually, near the end of the book, he like first pops his mutant bone claws, and he then also discovers his mutant healing ability. And when his like mutant gene kicks in, that's when he's like now has his healing ability, and now he's no longer sick. And they like talk in the comic about how the reason he was so sick is because his body was preparing him for his mutant gene. So it was like a vaccine. It was introducing him to all of these diseases and sicknesses so that his body could develop antibodies for all of this like terribleness for his health. And now, from there, me and my wife My wife constantly gets on my case for stuff like brush licking.
Good, as she
I'm
should.
pretty sure she knows I lick brushes,
She will now.
but like hasn't said anything about it. But like there are things that I do, like that she's just like, that's terrible. Like I will eat like 2-day-old expired like yogurt.
Oh God! Don't say that.
Why?
That's so
you
nasty.
wouldn't? Why
Oh,
wouldn't you?
No, I
so
wouldn't.
if you give it a smell and it's not sour, but it's like 2 days past its expiration date, you won't eat it.
If it's quote not sour, buddy, it's sour.
No, it's not.
You're
no.
nose blind.
No.
Absolutely.
And what if it's on its expiration date? Do you eat it?
50-50.
50-50?
See how I'm feeling.
Why? Why are you doing that to
It's in
yourself?
my head, man.
It gets in your head. But you know that like the expiration date is not like they haven't gotten it down to a science where they're like on this day,
Oh my God!
like the
They sound
morning
just
of
like
this
my
day.
mom was trying to pinch pennies. No, Josh, this cottage cheese is only 9 months. It's expired. It's fine.
Yeah.
Best
So-
before doesn't mean expired.
Also, yogurt is mold.
yeah.
Yogurt is mold. Anyway,
I want
so
moldy mold.
so I'll eat stuff past its expiration date, depending. Like I'll give it a sniff test first, and like growing up, I just like some of my stories of things that we did as kids and like the unsanitariness of it, like working with cattle at a cattle show, you're like cleaning poop off the cows' backsides, and then like someone brings lunch and you don't have anywhere to wash your hands, so
Yeah.
you just eat lunch. And she's like, that's disgusting. And Erica's very, 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 very cleanly, like very clean. And like constantly, like she has now gotten me so that every time I come in the house, first thing I do is wash my hands. That wasn't a thing I did before. And guess who's more sick out of the two of us?
Oh my goodness.
More often.
It's her.
It's her.
Always.
And so my theory is that I get less sick because I've put my body through the ringer.
Yeah, of course.
Like
yeah, naturally.
my body has like it's faced its fair share of battles.
You ever watch The Office?
Yeah.
The episode where Dwight's like, please spit on me, give me your germs. Is that you?
No, I haven't watched that episode. I'm not that guy, but I'm like I'm not terrified of germs. I'm like,
So you go to like
whatever.
a public washroom and you're like, you know what? I need to wash my hands today. I'm
No,
building up an
public.
immune
God,
system.
washroom. You have to. God, that's a line I refuse to cross. You have to wash your hands after the bathroom.
We'll see. I'll take your advice.
Double up inside.
Double up, baby.
Inside a public washroom. But yeah, so I am getting back to the point though.
I hope so. I was going to
So-
ask where we start.
So as I was saying, like you're afraid of the chemicals on the brush.
Yeah.
I lick the brushes. I'm a healthy boy. Because I'm just continuing to like do the James Howlett thing of like exposing my body to these germs and chemicals.
I want to mute chat. I'm sorry. I'm dying. God.
My story killed
Oh
Josh.
my God. That's too much, man.
Science.
I can't do this anymore. Oh my God.
So you don't do. But see, I have like there's logic there, right?
I'm not dignifying that with a response. I don't know. I'm not a picky eater. I'll eat anything. But if it's like on the expiration date and I notice, I got bad news, man. I once drank
And you're
milk.
not a picky eater, but that's well, I guess maybe that's not
It's
picky.
kind
That's
of
like
I'll eat whatever,
particular.
but I won't eat like
No,
you know,
not
yeah.
particular. What is it? I don't know.
Healthy.
Cautious.
Or that.
Cautious.
Yeah.
Cautious.
I
eater.
prefer, smarter. But I'll drink milk.
Who's coughing, Josh?
You want to fucking die? In a video game.
In a video game.
I'll drink milk and I'll be like, oh, this is delicious. And then I'll look at the expiration date on the thing after and be like, oh, it's 2 days past. I'm not drinking this anymore.
Why?
I don't know. I get weird about it.
Why? It doesn't taste any different, right?
I don't know. Maybe. I'm not paying attention until it's too late. And then it's all in my head. It's placebo, Dan. It happens.
Placebo. Oh my God.
Francois back in the chat here. It says most acrylic paints are non-toxic. Just don't like white, metallic, or technical paints. I only paint with metallic paints.
There
I'm
you go.
in danger.
There you go. I'm doing all of them. It's okay.
So what we learned today
I'm
about
gonna
Dan
live forever.
is that Dan will eat expired food, not wash his hands often, and doesn't know what turbo hot means.
Hey,
been
hey,
a real
hey,
learning
hey,
experience
hey!
for all of us.
Who in the chat had support for their turbo hot pick?
You.
This guy.
Yeah.
This guy
yeah,
had
yeah,
support for his turbo hot pick.
I don't know what to say anymore.
Raquel Welch, hottie. Who else is super hottie? God, why can't I think of I have? It's one of the things my wife was like. She's like, it was really tough dating me at first, but she quickly got used to it because so if I had my old phone, I just upgraded my phone. Mm-hmm. My old phone has a bunch of picture reference folders for all the art that I do. If I see something cool, I'll save it on my phone. I could use that as a reference later for art. So I have a folder on my old phone. I have two folders. I have lots of folders, but the main one, the one that she was like, this was tough for me to first get used to, is I have a folder called Lady Folk.
Oh no.
And it's just I think at the end of that phone's life, well, it's still running. I just need to transfer the photos over. I have 1,000 photos of women in it.
Yeah.
In various states of dress or
Yeah.
undress, photos
Artist
of
thing.
faces,
Yeah.
whatever, for reference.
Of course.
And she's like, the thing that got me used to it is, and the thing that made me not concerned about it, or concerned about my maybe potential promiscuity, as when she was first dating me, right next to that folder is a folder with 900 photos that's labeled dudes. Also, same parameters. Various states
funny.
of dress and undress.
How many penises are on your phone, bro?
What's that?
How many penises are on your phone?
More than a few.
More than
yeah.
face,
Yeah.
face, fuck yeah.
Quite a bit. So yeah, she's like, yeah, it's it seems a little concerning when you see that first folder, but then you see the other folder and you realize, oh no, he literally just has this for reference and that's it. But yeah, somewhere on there's 3 ladies I can picture in my head that I would consider turbo hot. I can't tell you their names, mostly because as I was going to tell in a story and then completely got sidetracked and never finished the story, I'm really bad with names, insanely bad with names. So I can if I saw them anywhere, I would be able to pick those people out. I can pick out a lot of people by sight. I can't tell you their names. I follow them on Instagram or something, and that's where I've gotten their photos. But also their Instagram handles, I also can't remember.
Sure.
And are also probably not their real names.
Yeah.
Because they're probably, I hope, smart women who don't use their real names when they have Instagram followers
Sure.
of 3 million or something. That's my hope for them. But yeah, anyways, tonight, I will go home, I will find that folder, and I will find those turbo hot people and send some to you. And then
I'm just really worried you're going to send me a picture of some 900-year-old woman and be like, Josh, this.
Okay,
is
here's
the
a
type.
question for you.
Yeah.
So you picked Margot Robbie as turbo hot.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So my definition of turbo hot is they have to it's just a looks question. Don't bring their personality into it. If they have a great personality, dope, awesome, even better. But I should just the moment I look at them be holy crap, that person is attractive. Where I feel Margot Robbie, I'd be oh yeah, she's attractive. But then the more you see Margot Robbie in her roles and interviews and stuff, she gets more attractive because seems like a really nice, fun person. She does cool projects. She's talented. So that compounds
that
her
sounds
hotness.
just Turbo Hot Plus, like Disney.
Turbo Hot Plus? Yeah, like Disney Plus? Yeah. See, I don't know what I would classify that as, but like that's like where you get into like marrying type, where it's like, oh,
Sure.
you're hot and you're cool and you're like dope and you're a nice person, awesome. But like turbo hot, like there are people that are real hot, but like just trash bag people, and I still have to admit, like, you're still really hot
Yeah.
though. So like these women, I'm like, they're classified as turbo hot because I don't know things about their personality, but I know that they're turbo hot.
Based. 2 white dudes painting miniatures rate women.
Yeah.
The stream.
Who's a turbo hot? I think I can give you better answers for this.
Sure.
Like, who's a turbo hot dude?
His name is Ryan Gosling. Have you ever heard of him?
What? No, Ryan Gosling. No, he's not turbo hot.
well-
now you're way out to lunch.
No, you're fucking gone.
No,
Oh my God,
Gosling
he's
is
mean.
not like
He's me.
like. You're forgetting like what? Do you think he's hotter than like Henry Cavill?
Henry Cavill's not hot.
What? You get out of town.
He's like
Find one
big and attractive.
one version of Henry Cavill that's not attractive.
Pretty much all of them. Not
Every
attractive.
one of them.
Sorry,
Every
the
one of
question isn't attractive.
It's
are
he's
they
turbo hot. Yeah.
None of his versions are turbo hot.
What's wrong with Cavill?
Nothing's wrong. He's attractive. He's not.
He's
turbo
incredibly hot.
I'm not.
He's like
popping his stiffy the
it's
moment I see
unfair.
him.
It's unfair. What about Chris Hemsworth?
Let me remind myself
Any of the Chris's? Thor.
Oh.
Thor.
Yeah, he's turbo hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. See? Yeah.
Yeah.
Way hotter than Gosling.
No.
Gosling's just a little weenie. Like, also, I think you didn't grow up with Gosling on Breaker High, and that shows.
Ryan Gosling.
Are you Googling Ryan Gosling on Breaker High?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen. He's a boy here. I'm not reading boys. I'm reading men.
He still looks like a boy. And he has a weird small mouth.
That just adds to his hotness, and now I can't.
No,
I
what?
can't unsee it.
His small mouth?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
He has a small mouth.
That's so unfortunate.
Yeah. How did you not see that when you were rating him as turbo hot?
Francois in here saying Sean Connery. No, not turbo
No,
hot.
not Sean
No,
Connery.
No.
But while we're speaking of Sean Connery,
Oh.
have you ever Googled Zardoz?
How do you even spell that?
Zardoz.
Z-A-R-D-O-Z.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I looking at?
The film
I've seen this
Sean
picture
Connery
before.
left the James Bond franchise for because he thought
No
this was
way.
a better bet.
That's crazy.
He thought this was going to be bigger than James Bond. Watch the movie. It's wild.
Is it like
it's
good
insane.
wild or?
Like, yeah, you're going to have a fun time. It's not a good movie, but you're going to have a great time watching it.
Is he dressed like this the entire movie?
Yeah.
Fuck. This is insane. Something. What's his floating head?
Yeah. so the floating head, the movie opens with Zardoz. So Sean Connery, I can't remember. I don't think is his character named Zardoz? I don't know. His character's not named Zardoz.
Okay.
I can't remember what his character is. But Sean Connery in that image, this is in a post-apocalyptic future, and Sean Connery is the perfect man.
Sure.
And there is a group of men that exist on Earth that ride around on horses and like murder other men.
Okay.
And they're just like wild and like untamed. And he's like leading them. And then this like giant head, the head that you see,
Yeah.
comes down and like asks them to like give offerings to Zardoz. And that's like their god is this giant head. And it just like yells at them to give them offerings and stuff. And then at one point, he gets abducted by the head, and then he finds out there's another society, and it's like, basically it's like the 1%. Like, so he finds out that there's like this highfalutin society that has gone all like super hippie and liberal, and like they're so weak, but they find him so attractive and interesting because it's like, oh, he's so wild and feral and like manly, and he's like violent, and it's so like unique to them. And then he ends up like being the prophesized savior of their society. And then there's a moment at the end where him and his wife, like a bunch of people, or not him and his wife, sorry. There's a moment in the movie where they all like gather around a woman and like start worshiping her, and she just ages into an old woman in like 5 minutes. It's so like, it's like a fever dream, this movie. It's wild. And it's even more wild knowing the whole time while you're watching it that Sean Connery read this script and was like, yeah, this is going to be bigger than James Bond.
This is an insane fever dream you're just
And
talking about.
then also remember that later in life, Sean Connery read the Lord of the Rings script and was like, this is poppycock.
No
this
fucking
is terrible.
way.
Yeah.
That's
He
crazy.
was just like, this is, I don't want to. He was the first pick for Gandalf, and he's like, this looks like crap.
Oh my god, they dodged a bullet. Oh my goodness. First pick for Gandalf.
Yeah, right?
Oh my
Can you
God.
imagine Sean Connery as
Never.
Gandalf?
That's crazy.
Incredible. Like, any role where Sean Connery is asked to do an accent is like one of the best things.
I'm so excited.
Because he can't do an accent.
You ever seen that SNL skit where they're on Jeopardy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's like one of my
classic.
favorites.
It's so fucking funny.
Such a good bit. What am I doing? I got distracted.
We're so deep
talking
out
about
of this. We only got 20 minutes left, Dad. You're almost there, buddy.
Okay, cool. Heck yes.
Nurgle Matthew in the chat. Welcome aboard, buddy. Missed ya.
Who in the chat has watched Zardoz? Anyone?
You know what? We're starting a poll. Last minute poll. Have you watched Zardoz?
Even better, who in the chat has dressed as Zardoz for December 21st birthday party and went out on White Ave in that?
Dan, do you have a story to tell everyone?
That's the story. my friend, her birthday is December 21st, and she, it fell on one of the, like, those, you know, however periodically we get like, oh, this is like prophesized end of the world day.
Yeah.
Her birthday that year fell on one of those prophesized, like, this is the end of the world day. So she had end of the world party for her birthday.
Oh, no.
Where everyone was supposed to dress up as post-apocalyptic characters. And so I chose Zardoz. And it was, December 21st on White Ave at the Elephant and Pub Castle. And yeah, that's what I went in. It's great.
Incredible.
Yeah. It was awesome. But it was also super awkward because obviously I couldn't walk from my car to the pub in that in the middle of like winter. It was like minus 20, I think it was minus 24 outside. So I came in a jacket and they're like, oh, Dan, you're here. And they're like, what are you dressed up as? And I'm like, hold on a second. And just like started stripping. It was great.
This is my favorite day. Not in frame there, Dan.
Oh,
With your mini painting.
there?
Oh, I'm sorry. The one window shows current time. The
Oh.
YouTube window shows like 2 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah. So it was me when I was like back
Yeah,
here
yeah,
yelling
yeah,
at
you're
you?
fine
Okay,
now.
cool,
Yeah,
cool,
I'm
cool.
sorry.
It's all right. Yeah.
We have 3 votes on have you seen Zardoz so far, and they are 100% no. That answers that question.
Oh my
We're
God,
gonna
go
have the
solve
poll.
that right now. Well, not right now. Wait until this is done and then go watch Zardoz.
Or same time.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. As long as we're in your hearts.
We could do a paint and watch Zardoz live stream.
I don't know how to get around not getting copyright strikes from Sean Connery.
I don't think anyone has the copyrights to that movie anymore.
Zardoz.
No one has the rights to that movie.
I'm something Patreon related. That'll be funny.
Oh my God, do yourself a favor and watch that, dude.
I'm
so good.
excited. I have to now.
What's like your best trash movie?
My best trash.
Like a movie that you know is bad, but you love it.
You ever seen the movie Three Ninjas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Erica were trying to watch that the other day.
Yeah.
We can't find it on streaming anywhere.
The first movie is fully on YouTube.
What?
Yeah, for free.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what me and Erica are watching that this week. Love Three Ninjas.
Jet Purple Fox is Zardoz
Yeah.
and Chill.
Yes.
Oh, dude, I grew up on Three Ninjas. I never really understood
Yeah.
the plot of them, but I was so into them.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what the plot is other than they're 3 boys, they are ninjas, and they fought someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was like Arabian terrorists
Probably.
or something like that.
Sounds about right for the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like super not like PC movie nowadays, but
No.
you know,
No.
fuck, dude, it's part
Though
of.
I did
it's
find
about-
out one cool thing about that. At least one of the kids in that movie was properly cast.
Really,
Yeah. So one of the kids in that movie is a quarter Japanese.
that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be right
What am
back.
I doing
Keep
with
showing
my
us some
life?
trivia.
Huh?
I'll be back.
Okay. We doing trivia about this? Is that what's happening?
Sure.
Cool. All right. So I've added on, it's a lot, like it doesn't look like much right now, but you just kind of have to trust the process. So I've added some of the, wrong color. So I've added some of the chainmail silver to all of my metallics that are silvery in color, just to give us a base for our highlight. Now we're going to add this silver from Game Air. That's when it's going to really start to pop. It's a kind of a weird process because you need to do this. You're going to pop it, and then you are going to drop it. I like to relate all of my painting techniques to 90s dance crazes. And then you're going to pop it again. So you pop it, drop it, pop it again.
Another vote for a movie in chat here. Sorry, my mic's off, but you can all hear me. Is Ice Pirates.
Ice Pirates? I've never seen that.
What is Ice Pirates, Francois?
What? Ice Pirates.
Sorry, my mic's back on. Hello, everyone. How's the stream been for you, Dan? We're almost closing out here, so.
Been good. It's been great.
I really enjoyed this.
I'm really happy.
We need to do this more.
Yes, agreed. Oh, do you know what's a great, terrible movie
What?
that I is like a super? I don't think it's a guilty pleasure of mine because I will freely tell everyone I love this movie. But it was something that me and Kit bonded about like very early on when we started working together. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen the Hugh Jackman starring Van Helsing?
No.
Oh, dope movie.
Yeah?
Yeah, great. Just like over the top as heck. No one is taking themselves seriously, except for maybe Hugh Jackman. He's kind of vaguely serious in it,
Interesting.
but not enough. Has like the dopest werewolf ever. Frankenstein, Dracula's having kids in there. Frankenstein and Dracula aren't having kids together.
Sure.
Frankenstein's there. Dracula's trying to have kids. It's dope. It's a great time.
Awesome.
It's a silly, fun movie. But it was like just torn apart critically when it came out.
No.
Like, you people need to grow up. This movie is incredible. So here with this step with the silver, I'm getting a little bit more sparse. Like, you can probably see how this is where you can really see those like changes in the color. Because even as I shift around, like some of those highlights don't move, and that's where that silver is sitting. And we're picking out places where the light is definitely going to hit. So like, again, if we think back to like edge highlighting is a really dope technique, but it's also like based in basically how light works. And so with something like metal, edge highlighting works really well because that's kind of how metals work, is like on an edge, the light hits like very purely, and the edge, as long as it's directed towards the light, is going to be the closest to the light. So it's going to be the lightest part. And it's going to be very stark and different to the rest of the metal. So it's really easy if you want like just a kind of quick cheat code with your metals is the closer you are to an edge, probably the more likely you should do an edge highlight. And if you have a round surface, so this is kind of like rounded, you want to try and pick like, if we start like this is one side, that's the other side, about halfway between is another like nice easy cheat spot to kind of just put a highlight. It's not always going to be the right spot, but a lot of times when you start learning shadowing and highlighting and how light works, it's learning kind of cheat codes and learning how light works fast and relying mostly on the fast, easy ones to remember, unless you're going for like hyper realism. And so this thing is not going to be hyper realistic. I don't like going full realism with my minis. GW miniatures aren't hyper realistic, so doing a hyper realistic paint job on a model that is not hyper realistic just doesn't feel, doesn't vibe for me. So I don't typically try to go that hyper realistic. Or sorry, not hyper realistic. I don't try to go for realism. I typically go for hyper realistic. I was saying that wrong. hyper-realistic as a style is like, if you think of probably like 2000s, I'm getting very specific with my references, but 2000s comics, like mid-2000s comics, that's the style that hyper-realistic is. Where am I going? That's where I'm going. Nope, that's not where I'm going. This is where I'm going. I need this brush. Ha. And the reason it's called hyper-realistic is because you are taking real life and you are basically exaggerating it a little bit to create a more real feeling effect. Easiest way I can describe that, because that sounds dumb, and it kind of is, but it makes sense when you learn more about art, and when you learn more about how your brain processes images. So how long do we have on this?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? I think I can do this in 10 minutes.
I believe
Okay.
in you.
Josh, so you would say I'm a talented artist.
Beyond talented, yes.
Okay. Where do you think my talent lies? Like a basketball player, talented with like their arms, their hand-eye coordination, legs, stuff like that. So where does my talent lie?
So I wish I could answer your question, really.
Yeah.
But much like if LeBron James were to ask me, I'd be like, I got no fucking clue, because I don't play basketball, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what art things to say you're good at, because I look at them like, that's art. It's good, you know? So I'm not quite sure. Everything? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't think I know art well enough to be able to point out what you do super well, what you don't do super well.
That's okay. Basically, the reason I ask this question a lot to people, and where I mostly ask it to, is artists that I'm teaching.
Sure.
Is because once you understand why some people are naturally more skilled at art than others, it becomes easier to figure out art, and
Sure.
like easier to figure out how to get better as an artist. So the way I am talented or naturally gifted with my artwork is the relationship between my eye and my brain. Your brain is incredible. Like, your brain does just insane things, insane computer calculations all day, every day. It has insane storage space, but even that is limited. Like, we are limited in how much space we can, or how much space we have in our brain to store things. So our brain makes shortcuts. And the way it does that is when I'm looking at you, I see you as you. I see you for all what you are and exactly what you are. But when I look away, my brain doesn't have the capacity to, like, you've heard of like photographic memory?
Yeah.
So almost nobody has a photographic memory. And that's because our brains only have capacity to hold and store a certain number of information. So when I'm not looking at you, my brain is picking out what makes you different, what makes you unique.
Right.
And so it creates a caricature of you in our head. And those caricatures can boil down to really, 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 really simplistic things. So like a stick man is a caricature of a human.
Right.
You wouldn't see a stick man up and walking around and be like, hello, fellow dude,
Yeah.
like normal person. You'd be freaked out.
Yeah.
But we see a stick man when it's drawn on paper and recognize it as a man. And that's because that's how our brain works. So where the problem is, and why like certain people are more naturally skilled and gifted with art, is I have a better relationship between my brain telling me what something looks like and my eyes telling me what something looks like.
Sure.
Because when I'm drawing, so if I'm drawing you, I can look at you and see what you look like, but when I go here, I'm not looking at you.
Yeah.
So my brain and I have to work together
Right.
to be like, that is how that actually looks. Because my brain will tell me, oh, he looks like this.
Right.
And then my eyes will see what I'm drawing and go like, no, something's wrong.
Right.
So that's where hyperrealism lies.
Sure.
And that's also how you can teach yourself to be a better artist, is use more reference, because all art comes from real life. Doesn't mean you have to use real life to be the best artist. It just means that's where all the rules lie. Mm-hmm. But that's where hyperrealism comes from. Is hyperrealism feels more real in some ways than realism.
Sure.
So if you see a drawing of a punch in a comic, it feels real. So if you see typical, if you Googled Superman punching a guy.
Sure.
You'll look at that and you'll be like, yeah, that's what a punch looks like. But it's not. You actually push things that are in motion further in comics than they realistically are, because that's how we normally perceive them.
Right.
So I can look at your face, and your face can pause, it can stay still. While you're sitting here, you and me are talking, your face is still. So I have a lot of time to digest how your face looks. If you go and punch me, I can't sit on the punch for very long.
Right.
Visually, I only see the punch for 2 seconds. So we're relying more on our brain than we are our eyes to tell us what punches look like. And because our brain has a hyper-exaggerated version of what a punch looks like in our head,
right,
it looks more exaggerated than what it looks like in real life.
Sure.
You'll tell someone a story and be like, yeah, the guy punched and it was he knocked him 5 feet back, and then you play back a video of it and it's the guy just goes ugh. That doesn't feel impactful, but that's real life. And so that's why I like hyperrealism on my models, is because I'm basically taking parts of how your brain remembers things and combining them with what real life is. And that's kind of how GW styles its models, is they exaggerate certain features.
Right.
So we'd be like, oh yeah, that's a realistic looking dude. But if you actually put a little Catachan, not a Catachan, that's not a great example, but Acadian model next to a real proportions model,
yeah,
they look wildly different. But when you separate them, they look like you'd be like, no, that's a realistic looking person.
Sure.
And that's because it's hyperrealism. So anyways, can't remember what my original point was, but I have tried to explain hyperrealism.
Thanks, Dan.
Anywho. So I didn't unfortunately have the time I needed to do this whole thing all the way up to the highlighting, but you can start to see how these highlights are much punchier than they were before. Right under here, you can see the original color of that metal. And then when I flip up here, it's just shining. We need to bring it down some because, again, I want to draw your eye towards this red. But now that I've brightened this up, the eye is kind of floating between these two. So once I dull these with a wash and some shades over top of them, then your eye will go right back to here. So that's what we're going to try and do. But this is just step 3 in probably what'll end up being a 6-step process of the metallics. And I'll do that for the golds as well. And I'll kind of do that for everything else on this model as well. I might work on this model on Wednesday. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to stream that too, buddy?
I do. That one I'll probably stream from home.
Oh, you're such a coward. I'll
But
get
I
there,
would,
buddy.
if I can, I will try and get in another stream with you
sure.
if you're down for another one.
Always, buddy. I need
Heck yeah.
content.
Heck yeah.
You got me 2 subscribers today. Hell
Ooh,
yeah.
nice.
I think the first one was Purple Fox, and the second doesn't tell me. YouTube's really weird. It doesn't always tell my subscriber. I'm pretty sure it was Francois here, so thank you if it was you.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah. Do you have any
Francois, the fellow lover of Raquel Welch.
last minute comments
About
about just life advice to people, painting advice,
painting advice.
life advice?
Actually, you know what? In both. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. We learn most from our mistakes. In art and in life, you learn way more from a mistake than you do from succeeding. It's like gaming. Learn more from a game you lose than a game you win.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dun-da-da. Perfect.
Awesome.
I guess I can pause there then.
Excellent. Dan, where can people find you outside of the stream?
On Instagram at smashedhead, on Blue Sky at smashedhead, or at smashed_head, on Twitch as at smashed_head, and at Redclaw.
Sweet.
Yeah. If you want to paint with me, come here every Tuesday night from 6 to 9, and I am here to help you with your painting hobby projects.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'll probably update the thumbnail of this video to be that model pretty soon. I'll put all
Perfect.
your socials in the description of that too. So if you're looking for that, you can't find it later, come back. It'll be in the description. It'll be super coolio. I'm
roll.
your boy, JBabyBaines, with 3uptabletop.com for all your favorite Warhammer needs and board game needs. Come to our website. Your needs are reading because we make articles. Otherwise, we try to stream Warhammer games pretty much every single day, as best we can. If we can get people on, we do. Our next game will be guaranteed at least Thursday and Saturday, so if we're not streaming the other days, we're there. Yeah, hit us with a subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Trying something new. If you have any feedback, put it into the comments so I can change it later. Yeah. Dan, do you have anything you think I should add to the stream for next time?
I will bring more models with me so that when I talk about stuff, I'm not just like going like, in theory, remember this, or in theory, imagine what I'm describing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Cool.
Well, thanks, everybody. It's been a great stream. I think it was successful, and I hope we can do it again sometime.